You can move it like this too.
Okay.
Just get comfortable.
Okay. Oh, I love it. Edmund, thanks. Listen, I always try to just like respect because it's not my stuff. I don't know.
This bell you can ring. Don't ring it as much as Mary.
So wait, do I
did.
not get a Topo Chico though?
Yeah, you do. Here.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was gonna do.
Oh, it was smoky.
Yeah.
It's a vaping.
Yeah,
Topo Chico.
they're very nice. Look at that.
It's like 4th grade
Isn't that cool?
science fair.
Look at
Yeah.
that.
What is the bell for?
Just sometimes you feel like you need to ring a bell.
Okay.
It's just been a thing for a
And
long
Mary
time.
just went to
So
town.
she went to town.
When was she
on
here? She was just here?
Like 4 days ago.
Oh.
Yeah. I forgot to have her sign the table though.
Oh no.
Okay, here
She'll
we'll just
have
start
to come
the
back.
thing. We'll just start the thing.
We'll just start it.
Is that
These
okay?
are
You staying home tonight?
I hadn't planned on it, no.
Plan on it.
Minus 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition and liftoff of Discovery.
You're gonna die.
I'm Raymond Arroyo. We'll see you next time.
And then just put a bunch of more people on it.
Can this be like the show / late night? Mm-hmm. Like this can be like this is an extra, you know what I mean?
It kind of feels that way.
Kind of, right? It does. It's like a different vibe.
Have you ever
Different vibe.
Have you ever done? You do a lot of. I mean, you do radio. You do Jen Fuller's show and
Taylor.
Have you ever done?
And then I do
them
Guadalupe, which
Have you ever-
I haven't done that in a while, so I should probably.
Have you
not
ever
say that.
recorded in front of a live audience?
Yeah, the first time I was on Jim Fulweller's show, and I didn't know who she was. This is a great story, but I don't know if you want
Tell
me
it,
to wait. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't know who Jennifer Fulweller was. Not a clue in the world. And she was having this conference called Adele. Sure.
Like the girl, like the singer.
Cute, but Edel.
Oh, Adele.
Oh, okay. But
Adele?
sure. I mean, no, yeah,
Is
you're
it like
right.
a Bible word or something?
It's kind of like saying GIF or GIF. I don't know. It's
But
like,
what does that word mean?
okay, so it's like a lady that is like I don't know. She's like not a saint, but like she's kind of.
So this was Jen's conference.
This was Jen's conference with Hallie Lord. Again, someone I didn't know.
Okay.
And they sent out an email. So this is 2017. And it's in Austin, and they sent out an email to everyone who bought a ticket to this conference, which it's a pricey conference, right?
Yeah.
And they said, hey, Jen's gonna do her thing. If you have anything that you do and you want to come be on her show, and I'm thinking, oh my God, it's another flipping mom with a podcast. I'm like, if I freaking go, you gotta be kidding. If one more person has a flipping podcast.
That's what everyone feels about. I get that exact reaction when I say I have a podcast. People go, another freaking woman with a podcast. That's what people
Another
literally
mom.
say. Yeah, another
You're like,
mom with a podcast.
Dang it.
Yeah.
So I legit thought I was going to go to this like creepy hotel room with this mom with her iPhone.
Wait, but you voluntarily decided to go to the conference for some reason, right?
Okay, I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of, and you have, because you're
Adele?
under the age of the singer? I thought it was her. No, FOMO, completely 100%.
Really?
Everybody I knew. Okay, listen. All my friends are super like legit moms. They like read blogs and
Yeah,
they like
yeah.
read books and
So
they like do
everyone
all the
you knew-
things. They're all Marthas. I'm not.
They all knew Jen
Yeah,
was put on the conference.
totally. And I didn't know. Like
Yeah, yeah.
they hadn't even said her name.
Okay.
And it wasn't just Jen. It was like all these bloggers were going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay. And they were like totally fangirling at home, but I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, well, I'm going to go
Yeah.
because they were so brilliant. Their thing for their conference was they had people take pictures with like, I'm going to Adele.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, well, I want to go to Adele
I
because
feel left out like that all the time.
okay,
Yeah.
you understand.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going. And
Yeah.
everyone was like, actually no one asked me why I was going. But, like, but in my narrative,
Yeah.
everyone, the townspeople said, why are you going? And I said, because I want to go. Anyway.
The people wanna know.
The people want to, no one cared.
That's how
But
people start YouTube videos. They go,
Yeah.
a lot of people have been asking me.
Sure,
No one's
not
asked.
one
no one's
human
asking me. Yeah.
ever has wanted to know anything.
A lot of people
I
have
do.
been asking me about my prayer routine. It's like
Right.
no one cares,
Yeah.
Karen.
That's why.
No one's going,
Karen,
hey Karen, tell us your prayer routine.
put it on your Instagram
Yeah.
story.
And Karen's like, gosh, so many
Dang
people
it,
asking me.
I have to ask another
Oh,
poll.
man.
Yeah, totally me. So yeah.
Okay, so you show up at the conference. You don't know who Jen is.
Well, I told my friends, here's what's so crazy. Not one of them said anything about it. Like, not only that, but I kind of got looped into a lot of parts of this conference.
That's amazing.
All of a sudden, I was like, kind of like, I feel like
You're part of the conference?
this is what I'm saying. It got a little kind of out of control.
That's awesome. That's
Well-
my goal every conference I go to.
People are like, oh, are you part? And you're like, actually, no.
Yeah, no.
But I'm so important if I don't come.
And always in my head, it's probably because I'm just so self-centered and narcissistic and attention grabbing, but all the time, it doesn't matter what conference or how big, I'm always like, if they call me up on stage, what do I open with?
I'm ready though.
I'm like, what's my type 5?
Seek, you're ready.
Yeah.
Because you're like,
ready.
there's 20,000 people. I will not let them down. It's like when I met the Pope, I had a plan on what I was going to say to him.
Yeah. What came out?
Pope John Paul II.
Did it actually come out?
2001, yes. And we
you were
had
planning?
the Sposi Novelli. Well, we went up to meet him, right? We're like all in the wedding stuff, and we're like 9 years old.
Yeah.
And we go up, and I'm thinking, not really 9, in case anyone's worried. We do live in Texas. They're like, is that a law? But yeah, so we're going up and I'm thinking, he has been sitting there all day blessing everybody.
Yeah.
But has anybody thought to bless him?
Oh, you were way ahead of Pope Francis.
I will take care of that.
You prayed for him.
I will. Yes. So he goes, God bless you. And I was like, no, God bless you.
Did you do the...
No, I pointed. I did the American whoosh.
You pointed maybe too aggressively, and the Swiss Guard were like, whoa, hold
they
on.
kind of like pulled me off and I went to jail.
My coworker Tim said the dumbest thing. He said when he was about to see Pope John Paul II, the only thing he could think is if he had a second to say something to him, just the first thing that popped into his head was to say, Wakanda forever.
He did not.
No, he didn't say it, but he was like that was the only thing he could.
Only thing.
Like in the moment he was nervous, and the only thing he could think to say is like Wakanda forever, and it just popped into his head, and like, oh, wouldn't that be funny? But then he couldn't think of anything else.
That's really funny.
I almost peed my pants when he
that's
told.
fantastic.
I was laughing so hard. I was like,
kind of sad that didn't
you're
happen.
such an idiot. Wakanda forever. You have one chance to see the Pope.
Because he looks so much like
he
the character.
No, he just thought. Wakanda forever,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I told him, I said, if I were standing next to you and you would have whispered that to me, I would have forced you to say that. That would have been it after that point.
Yeah. I would be like, you can't leave until you actually say these things.
So Jen got the Pope at her conference. She was there.
Yeah. See, so not the same story. God,
Circling
that's so
back around.
sad. Back to 2017.
We're professionals.
So yeah, it was so professional. So so I show up and my 2 girlfriends are with me and I go to open the door and this one friend, Kassie Conker, that's hilarious. She's gonna be like, really? Because I tell the story all the time about her. But Kassie grabbed my arm and she goes, my mom can't wait to hear you today. And I looked at her and I said, on a podcast? Are they live? I don't even know what a podcast is. And I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she goes, Liv, this is Sirius XM radio.
Yeah.
You're about to be on this is national radio. You're about to go live.
Satellite.
Yeah. And I looked at her and I go, should I call my mom? And I did. I called my mom.
Yeah.
And they got into the car because that's where satellite radio is. And I
They
opened
were like,
the door.
subscribe. Make sure you pay.
Yeah. And there was like 150 people.
Wow.
Open the door. There's a stage. There's Jen, Hallie. Still don't know who they are.
Yeah.
They had the big banners.
So prepared.
All the things, the mics and the things.
Yeah.
And with radio, there's no prep work, which I love. But at the time, I
Wait,
didn't
what do you
know.
mean? What do you mean there's no
you
prep?
don't know. You don't know anything. Like I didn't know how long I was talking. I didn't know what about. I didn't know anything.
Gotcha.
Like you legit go sit down. So I stand up at the next to Jen, who I didn't know, and she's on her computer being very Jen, which now I know is very her.
Yeah.
And she turns to me and she goes, "Are you the one about marriage?" Which meant I had written and said I have a marriage ministry, like when I wrote in. And so I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And she said, we go live in 30 seconds. Put those headphones on.
Oh.
So I sit down, put on the headphones. It was 13 minutes of live radio.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I had the link. I had the link every one I've done, but this one's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I had written a couple of things on a piece of paper because how I said I was like really kind of in the whole thing.
Yeah.
I was going to be a hostess at a table Saturday night, meaning they were going to put 12 ladies at my table. And if you were really good at talking to people, they were like, hey, would you be a hostess? I was like, yeah, I can totally do that.
I would love to do that.
Right?
In fact, can I do that all
Can you
conference?
do that every
Yeah.
Look at you.
Can
We're
I-
just finding jobs for you.
Yeah.
This is really like, I feel like we're interviewing and I'm getting to know you better.
No, I was saying for you. I'm sure you felt that way.
No, I did.
you
I loved
did,
it. I was
right?
so
Yeah.
excited. And so I wrote down 3 things. I wrote down, I love New York City. I love singing at the top of my lungs with the windows down on a car trip because I went to Lubbock. I went to Tech. So we always were in the car for 9 hours. And then I said, I love watching Friends in bed with my husband. When they printed it, they wrote Friends lowercase. And they didn't have quotes around it.
When you said it just now, you love watching Friends in bed.
Just take a moment.
So that's how that segment went.
Take a moment.
I bet
on
Jen-
Catholic radio.
I bet Jen capitalized on that.
Listen.
Yeah.
They went to town. And here's what's great. I'm a good sport. And I got it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I went with them.
Oh, I would have purposely wrote it that way.
It was so great. So when we were finished, she took off her headphones. She looked at me and she goes, you are wonderful on live radio. And I was like, thanks, lady.
Yeah.
Like, I still don't know.
You looked at her and you said,
are.
you looked at her and said, I think you have a career in this too.
I know. You should
You're doing pretty
talk
good.
to that lady with the podcast. Maybe she'll put you on.
You should do this more often.
Get out your iPhone.
Yeah.
You could have a podcast
I really want to
too.
speak into this and affirm you, Jen, that you might have a future. Discern this. Ask your husband for permission.
I mean, seriously, it was funny. And she was like, no, really, you're so great. And I was like, okay, thanks again. And then I left the stage. The next morning, I'm in line at the Marriott getting my cruddy like pastry or whatever, for the conference. The conference pastry.
Conference pastry.
And I pull up my phone and there was an email from the SiriusXM producer.
Wow.
And that's how I got started.
That's amazing.
Isn't that crazy?
So where do you go now? Do you have a studio like in your home or do you go to a studio?
You're adorable. And I love you for asking that because no, I don't have my own show.
Yeah.
I go to Jen's. So
Okay.
I go to Austin, but I have gotten to do it twice live in New York.
Wow.
So that's super cool in SiriusXM. And the
super
first time I did it, Jen McCarthy was there and I got to meet a lot of famous people and it was really awesome. This last time I was just there in September.
Dang.
No one famous. But hey.
So how long have you been talking into microphones? Like in total?
So that was August of 2017. So I just had my 2-year anniversary.
Wow.
And I went professional as a speaker, as an MC, and what I say like now as a radio like co-host, because now I've been asked by her little like whatever, her show to, I'm like on now once every 5 weeks. And so anyway, I say June 1st, 2018 is when my website dropped.
Yeah.
That's when that went live. So
That's cool.
I count that as like my, I don't know, becoming professional.
Once you have a URL,
I don't know.
it's a ministry.
I mean, I have a business card, so
Once you have a .com, it's a God-ordained
so
ministry.
stupid.
You can start talking in the third person too.
Can you?
We at liveharrison.com.
It's so dumb.
Yeah.
But I'm a nobody. I don't have a blog. I don't have a book. I'm not a youth minister. It's kind of crazy.
But you have a website and you have.
But I have a website.
And you talk into microphones.
This is what I'm saying.
That's how I've always felt about online stuff. Like anytime someone says something, like maybe you feel this way sometimes, maybe you don't. But
okay.
Anytime someone says that they listen to something, I'm always, the first 2 seconds is shock and like I feel exposed.
Really?
Yeah, all the time. Even though
Really?
I'm literally gasping for attention.
What are you talking?
I literally have 25 cameras in here.
There are so many. Look, I'm not good at math, but
it's a lot.
I can't even count them.
And
so many.
And my first 2 seconds is like, huh? That wasn't for.
Really?
Yeah. It's still to this day. Yeah.
Wow. I wonder if it's like a rush.
I
wonder
know.
if it's like a thing.
What do you mean, like that? I get amnesia right afterwards?
Sure, we'll go with that.
No, I
don't know.
I think somewhere deep down, I'm not sure that people are really seeing it. You know?
Oh.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay.
It's weird.
That is weird.
So did you always want to? Did you ever dream as a kid that you would do something like that?
What, radio?
Yeah, like talking to a microphone.
Here's what's so crazy. I mean, it's 2019. Who the flip is listening to the radio?
Yeah,
I don't even
that's true.
own SiriusXM.
No, I don't either.
Okay.
I didn't know.
So like seriously, I don't do any of the things that I actually do. I do none of them.
Yeah.
So it's so 1928.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah.
I don't know who's the president. You know, Eisenhower. It's
Who's
like,
the president?
Who's on the
Who's the
radio?
president?
I don't know. I mean, I'm saying like radio's so old. I love it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known to have dreamt to have done
Yeah.
it. My whole life dream was to be on Broadway, but I have no talent.
Okay.
So we had to let that go. But it was really cute because my husband, the first time I went live at SiriusXM, he goes, hey, you're actually like, you're going to be in New York, because I thought, well, I can't do Broadway because I can't sing, but I actually have a cousin who's a Broadway composer. She's amazing.
Wow.
So I get to do a lot of cool stuff with Broadway actually all the time.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do Saturday Night Live. So I was going to go to Second City in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then I was going to go right for Saturday Night Live. And then of course they were going to put me on.
Yeah.
Duh.
How old were
And
you
then-
when you really felt this? Like, how old did you? How
Oh,
old were
this
you?
was college. I mean, I went to school. I was 17 when I was in college, and I was English major.
to be on Saturday Night Live.
To go audition for Second City. That was the
Dang.
thing. So that freshman year, I was actually signed up to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
My roommates actually put me on this list to do it, which is so funny. I didn't do stand-up comedy until last summer with Jen Fulweiler.
Yeah.
We did it together in Austin.
That's
and now she's
crazy.
doing comedy.
Wait, so you
as
wanted
a
to be on
tour.
Saturday Night Live, but you were going the route of being a writer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought you should know your craft, right? I mean, like
Yeah.
if you're going to be on Saturday Night Live, a lot of them are the writers. Like they're the
Yeah,
writers,
yeah.
and then they get to be on the show.
I just thought you would. I just thought you'd do stand up too, or at least try it.
Well, you know, it wasn't a full plan, Edmund. I was 17. I also went to Texas Tech. So
That's true.
what was I
That's
really
true.
thinking? Okay. Obviously didn't think it through. And I mean, not to spoil it, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Hey, there's still hope.
But I think
There's
we're going
still
to let
hope.
that go. But what was cool was my husband texted me and said, hey, Liv, you're actually about to go live from New York. How rad is that?
Dang, on like
Kind
a
of
Thursday.
cool. It
On
was
like
a
Thur-
Tuesday. But
Close. You were
I'm
so
just
close.
saying, I think the last time I just did it in I think it was Thursday in September. I just went in 2019.
Man, if you could do that on a
but
Saturday.
isn't that kind of cool though?
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's still kind of neat.
That's really
so
cool.
I kind of still did my dream of going
Yeah.
live from New York, and I've done
Yeah.
it twice.
Dang.
I know, rad. Now I have nothing left to do with my life.
Well, you could probably.
I mean, I could try stand up again. It was
Yeah.
kind of crazy to do with Jen. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And
what,
now she's killing it.
So what did you just write it and just went and did it? Like you act like that was not a big moment in your life to go do stand up for the first time.
It was kind of a big moment. I didn't understand what an open mic was. Have you ever
is
done
you,
stand
This
up?
is you in any context.
You're starting to get it.
yeah, yeah. You're
How
like,
my life happens, we don't know.
You're like, how do microphones work?
I don't
I'm up
know.
here on stage.
No, okay, so I have a friend who, and I should show you the picture later. She coined the phrase that I am a rainbow tornado. And it kind of makes sense.
What
Like my
is that?
life is just so, I'll have to show you the photo because I have a friend that actually drew it. But like my life is just chaotic, but in a really magical way.
Wait, can we
it's
back
kind
up?
of crazy.
Wait, you have a friend that actually drew a rainbow tornado.
Yeah, you want to see it?
Yeah.
I mean, I could show
yeah,
you later.
I do. No, I want to see
You
this.
want to see it right now?
Yeah, 'cause
this is my best friend. So my friend Shandy is the one that came up with this whole concept. But my friend,
What does that
my
have to
best
do with-
friend Katie, she's the one that like.
So why does that work? You're a rainbow tornado because
Just because like
Tornadoes.
tornadoes are just what, like spazzy crazy.
Okay.
But a rainbow, it's just magical and amazing.
that's not what I. That's not what I
That's a
imagined.
rainbow tornado.
Yeah, you're right. I can't argue with that.
Okay. So yeah, like everything magical in life happens.
kinda
It's
looks like
I
a-
live.
It kind of looks
with
like
a
a disco
unicorn.
tornado.
Well, hey, I'm
little
not
bit.
opposed to that.
Yeah. So how was that doing stand up? Listen, it's 2020. I think 2020 is going to be
It's
the
almost
year.
2020. I know.
Yeah,
I kind
but
of feel like
that's-
maybe I'm going to.
but
maybe
that's
I should
gonna-
go do stand up.
Well, no, I'm saying that's going to be the year that everyone has tried stand up, right? That's how I feel.
Damn it.
Maybe it's just because I'm listening to too much of it. It just feels like,
Well, because Jen
it's
Fullwild is doing it
so
now
popular.
as a
It's-
tour.
yeah, it's so popular right now.
Okay,
stand up.
thanks.
No, I'm not saying it's bad.
I'm always like a year behind.
No, I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying I'm jealous of you that you.
I haven't done. No,
Did that.
no. It was cool. I've never done an open mic. I'd never been to an open mic.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the concept. I was shocked. People brought up like iPads, or they brought up like legal pads. They brought up their phones. They brought up like their hand, and
Oh,
they
to
would
do
literally
the-
just stand up there and be like, "So my grandma like picked up my dog." Like they literally were just reading one-liners.
Yeah, and you were like, that's not me.
I acted like I was on my own Netflix special. Like I was like, "Hey everybody, hey, how you doing?" Okay.
Did you write before you went up?
Oh heck yeah! I
Did
wrote
you
a
work-
whole set.
Did you work on it hard? Like
Yeah.
Like Jen was like working.
This
with
was
other
at the
coaches.
beginning. So I've been with her from the beginning of
Okay,
this
okay.
whole thing. And then
Yeah.
I just went to Chicago and was there watching her and supporting her doing
Yeah,
her
yeah.
show. And there was a live taping. And then I went live on SiriusXM the next day and talked about
Yeah.
it. And then I was on the show on Monday in Austin.
Yeah.
So
Did
and
you
then,
collaborate with someone on the set that you wrote?
No, she wanted to go over it, but this was at the very beginning of her whole thing. I was actually with her on the air in New York. The first time I went live in New York, it was the day that Kate Spade killed herself. I'm walking into the SiriusXM building, and I get you know how our phones go off like every 5 minutes,
Yeah.
and it says Kate Spade, and literally it was blocks away from where I was. And I walk into SiriusXM. This is my first. I mean, like I had a photographer with me.
Yeah.
I had my hair and makeup done. It was a
Dang.
big day for me. I had my headshots done the night before. Like it was a
Dang, you know how to do Broadway.
Dude, listen.
Gosh.
You have no idea.
Wow.
My friend Matt Bomer, he's a really famous actor. I don't know if you know Matt. He was on Broadway. So I went and I was with him. So it was like a really big week for
That's
me.
awesome.
Really big week.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, like going in, and I talked to Jen, you know, here I am, and she's in Austin, I'm in New York.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, the whole Kate Spade thing, that's the day. Because of Kate Spade's death, that she decided to go into stand-up was because of Kate Spade killing herself. And I happen to be the person who was on the air with her.
Wow.
So she wears a bracelet, that a Kate Spade one, for every show that she does and whatever. And then the other day when I was on the show, I don't remember when she told that story. She had me interview her. So it was like April maybe of this year. And she was like, you know, and I said, oh, so tell me how you got started. What made you decide to start doing the whole stand-up thing? And I was with her doing one of her very first
Yeah.
shows when we
Yeah.
went and did this open mic thing, which
Yeah.
was 2 Julys ago.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know the story. So this is just a few months ago. And she goes, oh, well, Kate Spade had actually killed herself. And I was on the air and I go, Jen, I was the one on the air with you that day.
Yeah.
It was so crazy.
So why did that make her?
She decided because looking at someone like Kate Spade, who had this incredible life, right?
Yeah.
Okay. She has all her stuff together. And apparently Kate was like Catholic or, kind of had this whole like,
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Well, because I don't want to say like.
She was like an openly Catholic celebrity.
I mean,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So.
Mark Wahlberg, openly Catholic man.
Okay, well, he's like legit.
Yeah, he's very openly
with, like,
Catholic.
the ashes.
Yeah.
And he's like
Yeah,
owning
yeah.
it. But,
I hope
so.
one day I'll be that open
that
about
cool.
it. Yeah.
I'll film you in your car with
Okay.
your ashes.
Okay.
But yeah, so she was like really touched by the whole, she had this whole empire and, David Spade's her brother-in-law and like
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. And that's
Yeah.
it. She's gone.
Yeah.
She committed suicide. And it was like, wait, what? And here, in this beautiful house, whatever in
Yeah.
Manhattan and blah, blah, blah. And it was just kind of like, it just really hit a chord with her. When Robin Williams killed himself, that was the day that like really hit a chord for me because I always had so much in common with him.
Yeah.
So for her, it just was. And so and these are her words. It was, I felt like I need to put something out there that's helping everybody kind of with this whole thing called life. If I can take off a few moments where you can just not think about whatever it is or be in that place, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And so she went after it. And what I really admire about Jen and getting to watch this whole process of literally being there from the moment that this has started, she has worked on this craft so seriously.
Oh yeah, like I've been seeing that on her
crazy.
Instagram
You have
stories.
no idea.
Yeah.
But stuff that people don't even know.
Oh, yeah, I
Like,
bet.
I mean, private coaching and like
Yeah.
whatever. She's amazing. But just like she's taking it so seriously. She's talked to so many people and she's just taken it so seriously. And I just really admire that. So being able to watch it from that first time that we did
Yeah.
it 2 Julys ago.
Yeah.
When we're doing these like terrible, and everybody's writing up there with their like Sharpie on their hand,
Well, what made
and
you
I'm
go?
being really serious about it. Like thinking,
What made you go? Were you
I
just-
might get discovered.
I got my
no one's
headshots.
called.
I
Yeah,
got a
exactly.
photographer.
I'm ready, you guys.
People out there trying to earn food money,
Man,
and you're just
man.
like, oh, what's up?
I was like,
That's what I'm afraid. That's what I'm afraid of. I get too in my head about if like not wanting someone to say, well, you're not taking this seriously, or not wanting. Once something gets popular, it's really hard for me to. I get in my head about it.
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the podcast and stuff getting popular. I'm
Yeah,
like,
you should let this go.
I probably should. I think I'm gonna start doing VR shows.
Great.
Right? Virtual reality
Oh,
shows. Yeah.
nice.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Sure, I'm gonna act totally like I know what that is. But that sounds
Like virtual reality.
amazing. I
I'm
know
gonna
what
have to-
VR is, but I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
what a show would be like.
We're gonna
that.
make one. We'll make it up.
Great.
Yeah.
And I'm so good at this. I never know what anything is, so I'm in.
You're hired.
I'm yay. I got discovered.
What was that like doing the set, doing the open
Listen,
mic?
here's what was so crazy about it. There were 45 people that night,
Yeah.
and there were only 5 women. 2 were Jen and I.
Wow.
So it was a little humbling.
Wait, 45 people. How many minutes? How many minutes?
3. You had 3.
Dang.
And it was at this, it was called Kick Ass Coffee
Yeah.
Company or something like
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
middle of East Austin. It was
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
I was trying to act cool.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like, hey, how you doing?
Hi.
But what I learned a lot of lessons that night.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
I haven't gone back to stand up.
Were you just doing it to support her and just to be there
she
with
wanted
her?
me to do it. She had been talking to me about it, like when I had been coming in for the shows to do, the radio. She was like, "Liv, let's do an
Yeah.
open mic together." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Man, I don't know." And she was like, "No, we're gonna do it together." And I was like, oh, "Okay." Whatever.
Sure,
I'm
fine.
such a follower.
Yeah.
I don't know. And so, so she was like, let's do it, write your set, And I was like, okay. So, so we did. So she filmed me. I have it on film.
Nice.
And I did release it. Like, I
You
don't
released
know.
it? What,
I
you-
like put it out onto
Yeah.
the internet at
Yeah.
one point. It took me like 6 months to watch it.
Wow.
It was hard. It was
Yeah.
really, really hard. And she said this. She goes, when I got off the stage, she goes, you did better than you think you did. And I was
Oh, yeah.
like, nah. Yeah,
I feel like
don't
that's
know.
always. Do you allow yourself? Does your personality allow yourself to say that you really crushed it when you crush it?
Now. In
Okay.
the last, I would literally say this since my conference in May, my
Yeah.
life has changed in my confidence.
Huh. Interesting.
Before then, no.
Yeah.
But yes, now that I have confidence, yes.
Yeah.
Before that, absolutely not.
That sums up my. Does
that make sense?
Yeah. No. Totally. That
Yeah.
kind of sums up my life, though. You think you did better than you think you did. That kind of like that could just be.
Yeah, but Edmund,
He
there
did-
were like
he did way
3
be-
people left when I went on stage, and I did a whole set on Disney.
Oh.
Right.
Relevant.
Yeah.
That's super
kick-ass coffee with if I told you the things that these kids did for their 3-minute sets, let's just say it had nothing to do with the Mickey Mouse. Like it was like
but you got to mix it up.
I
mean, someone's
there were
gotta
so
be-
many things I heard that I was like, I need confession for my ears. So I was like,
But doesn't that excite you though?
Insane.
But doesn't that excite you? That
It
excites
was the
me.
wrong crowd. It was the
Okay.
wrong, and they were literally, and I'm not just saying this,
Yeah.
but really and truly, I went on like at 11:25.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
And it was just,
What excites me though is that you both were there. Like that,
it was great.
That's not your
you know what's
crowd
cool?
and you were there.
One of the jokes that she told that night is in her set that she's doing right now on
That's
tour.
awesome.
Yeah,
That's
so that's
awesome.
cool, and it's actually one of my favorite jokes she's ever told.
Yeah.
So
I think
cool.
that's. I mean,
And that it's just a weird story. I don't know. It's
No,
just
it's
kind of
amazing.
strange to walk that with someone, but it's really neat to watch someone else and be really, really proud of them.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Just like a fangirl.
Way
Way to go.
I feel like I'm starting to get to the age where I understand the whole idea of well, now I have kids too, but coaching, when you coach someone and it feels better to watch them succeed than to
Right.
do it yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you get to an age where like competition isn't the thing, you're just like, I'm just really excited for you.
Yeah.
Like this is enough.
Yeah.
I'm cool.
Yeah.
That's what's really nice.
And when you get enough experience that you see some talent, but all they need is for you're like, wow, you could actually, here's this thing I learned. If you just knew this, you'd be able to do it.
Yeah.
Like all you need is me to say, hey,
Yeah.
just tuck and roll. You know, you can do it.
I'll say, I need to write that down.
Just tuck and roll.
That's my next text out
Yeah.
to everyone.
I need to write down I think on my tombstone, it's just going to be, he did better than he thought
Then
he
you
did.
thought, ooh,
He did
I
better
should
than
send
he thought he
you,
did.
listen, this would be a moment. I should send
Yeah.
you my 3-minute set.
Seriously.
And then you could be like,
Yeah.
no, you really didn't.
So you kind of try, you seem like you're just game for anything.
I'm at that point.
Do you get in a lot of trouble for that?
Well, let's see. It just started with the adult conference. That was
Yeah.
the very first time, and that's so funny that you say that because now I talk about that when
Yeah.
I give talks.
Yeah.
That was the first moment that I remember actually consciously saying, just say yes.
Yeah.
If there's not a reason to say no and it's
Yeah.
not immoral to then just say yes. And that's kind of been my last 2 years.
Yeah, it's like you're trapped in a Jim Carrey movie.
Yeah.
Right?
It's kind of crazy.
That one where he just says yes to everything.
yeah.
You're
Yeah.
kind of like that
Yeah.
at this
Hopefully
point.
it's going to end up better than that.
Yeah.
Than a Jim Carrey
Yeah,
movie.
don't watch that movie.
Yeah, but that's kind of what the last 2 years have been. So this last year, it's been very organic,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Are your parents Catholic?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, so what were you like before all of that? Before you were willing to just say yes to stuff, were you just very timid and
No.
you whispered a lot and you're quiet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we do that radio thing, the Saturday Night Live, the
This is
sweaty balls?
This
Can we
is
do that?
sweaty balls?
Yes.
What are you talking
When
about?
they do that scene, the Saturday Night Live that they do.
Oh, no, I don't know
With
what you're
Alec
talking about.
Baldwin.
No, I don't know what you're talking
well,
about.
great. Glad
I just know
said
that
that
someone's
into the
always
microphone.
filling in for someone else on NPR. It feels
Yeah,
like.
yeah.
Someone's always, this is Terry Gross filling in for. It's always.
Whoever it is.
So how
Yeah.
many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 3 younger brothers, but
Okay.
I am shorter than them, so they call me their little sister. But I'm a lot older than them. So a lot of people didn't even know that they had an older sister,
Oh,
if that makes sense.
yeah.
Because like I didn't go to school with any of them.
Yeah.
You know, I was already gone, that kind of stuff.
So people didn't know.
Yeah, like people just always thought it was the boys, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're great. I
Yeah.
mean, and they're all married and they've made people and, you know, it all worked out. I married my high school sweetheart.
Aw.
My mom is actually my husband's confirmation sponsor.
Okay. I
So
need
like
to-
he's been around since I was 15.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were best friends in high
Wow.
school. Yeah, one of those.
Danielle,
So,
my
you know.
wife and I in college, people always thought we were brother and sister.
Oh, how did that turn out? Do your kids
We have
look
kids now.
incest or they're
yeah,
like
yeah, they have the underbite and the big nose and the eyes too wide.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah,
They
they
do
look-
not. I've seen pictures of your kids and
Yeah.
they're adorable.
They look like one of those like King Edward III's son or something.
do not.
Henry IV's whatever.
Is it just because that? Okay, are you the type of couple that like
We just look
you just
look kind of
but they
similar.
say people do that, right?
Yeah.
They say a lot of people like just kind of
Yeah, like
so
your
really
pet.
you're
like you
just
start looking like your pet.
or really you just think you're really hot and you're like, how could I improve? Oh, I could be a girl.
it just-
so I'll look for that.
No, I think people are lazy. We just both have dark brown hair. We both have dark.
We're done.
Yeah, we both have dark brown eyes.
That's hilarious.
Both have mustaches. I don't know.
She does.
In college, we did.
And and then you
Then
stopped.
she met me, and I was like,
Here, bleach.
she told me to shave mine.
That's
You
ridiculous.
haven't. This is why it's funny because you haven't met her yet. Well,
I
no, you've seen
haven't.
pictures of her.
I mean, not many though,
yeah.
actually.
Maybe you didn't notice the mustache.
This poor amazing woman.
No,
who-
she's awesome. She's
Okay,
gorgeous. No, she's
okay.
amazing.
Well, good.
No, it was funny to think of us in college both
That's
having
really
mustaches.
funny. So when y'all started dating, did that kind of make everyone like,
Well, so people were like, no, what the reaction we would get is like some of my rugby friends would be like, I saw you with your sister. Were you guys holding hands?
no,
I'd be like,
no,
that was not my sister. You know,
Oh
it
my
was like that kind of thing. Like, were you guys? Because they probably saw us before and thought, oh, that's Edmund's sister. But then the second time they saw us and we were holding hands, they were like,
Maybe they're Amish.
okay, maybe they
At a Catholic
maybe they're from
school.
Utah or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just friendly.
Missouri. There's
Yeah.
only 3 people in that state.
Yeah. So tell me about
Yeah.
this conference thing that you
Oh, yeah.
started. This was a year ago that you started?
Not even. It was in May,
Okay.
and this is November, so that's hard.
That was your
Whatever
first
that
one?
math is.
That was the
Yeah.
first one? Okay. The Genius Conference, right?
Yeah, Genius. So, that's kind of an interesting story as well. There's this conference company in Houston named Fullness of Truth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, they've been at our parish. They've
Yeah.
hosted our parish. They've
Right.
been around a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
So I was their MC for the last year.
Yeah.
Okay, which is also kind of a crazy story because it's kind of like, do you know Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
Do you know that show?
A little bit. I mean,
Imagine
not a
if I
lot.
look like Penny, which I
Okay.
know is shocking
Yeah.
because you think I do.
I'm sure you look just like her.
To inside I do. I'm
I don't
a
know who.
hot
I don't know which
blonde.
one that is.
She's
Oh, the
one
hot blonde. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
But you know how the rest of them are very like, they're
Nerdy.
like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're all like professors
Yeah.
and like whatever. So that's kind of what this was. It's like
All the
these
nerds were
real
the fullness of truth,
no,
and
no,
you
no,
were the
no.
hot blonde,
Stop.
and they were like, "We need you to."
Yeah, obviously,
Let's start
I'm
a
the eye
spin-off?
candy of Fullness of Truth. No.
They're like, "We need a
Let's try to clear
conference
this
just
up
for
really
you."
fast. So Fullness of Truth is like, what are you saying on the okay? So
But
no,
they all are kind of nerdy, right?
they're theologians. Like the people who come to speak are amazing.
No, the founders of the conference.
I'm not talking about them.
Oh.
I'm talking about who comes to the like the speakers at the conference.
Okay,
They're
gotcha.
all like really phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like they are like they invented the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
I don't know, they made it up.
Yeah.
And they come and they say all these really, really smart things. And then I pop up and I'm like, don't forget your raffle tickets, everybody. It's like this whole like foil, right? I didn't actually do it like that. But
my gosh.
it was really funny because
what I would've done.
here we have these really smart theologians, professors from all over the country.
Yeah.
And this.
Yeah.
So they approached me and said, "Hey, we want to know."
Would you do a dumber conference? Could we I think you'd be really good at a different conference with smaller words.
Oh, that would have been really funny if they
that's
said
what-
that. Dang it, I'm
That's
kind
what
of
it sounded like this was going.
Well, see, I should have made it sound like that. No, they said, "Would you write a women's conference?" We've never had just a female conference. And I looked at them and I said, "That's a hard no." I was like,
yeah.
women's conferences are the worst. Catholic women, not Catholic women, but Catholic women conferences are just so hideous.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm absolutely will not do that.
Have you been to a lot of those? That's why. Yeah.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, are you kidding?
What's bad about them?
Oh, come on. I mean, it's just so...
Catty or just what?
No. Just so, I gotta be honest, really dry. Just so dry. It's like there's this one thought of what a woman is.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And it's like, if you don't fit in this box
Yeah.
and have this type of theology and this type of prayer life and this type of whatever,
yeah.
well then, I
Yeah.
don't know. Where
That's
do
weird.
you go?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like you
Do
go
you
to
think
these
that's just
conferences.
the people putting them on?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Or
I
is
don't
it-
really know.
Is it just the vibe of like the place?
If that's the way that it should be, because
Yeah.
we're girls,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ladies are supposed to be a certain way,
Yeah.
maybe, you know what I mean? So
Weird.
it's kind of this whole concept, and this is from my experience, guys.
Yeah.
I only live in Texas, so I'm
Yeah.
sure, I don't know, maybe Iowa has an unbelievable women's
They're crazy.
conf-
They're
I mean,
wild.
they're like insane.
They're
I don't
like
know.
swearing and spitting.
They allow men.
They're like, get
I
the
don't
men
know.
back in the kitchen.
I don't know, but I'm just saying my experience. Let me just go ahead and say that. So they kept asking, and then finally I said, "But listen, this is going to be very different because they're very intellectual conferences. Fullness
Yeah.
of Truth is
Yeah.
fantastic at what they do,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's almost kind of like a lecture series. Like
Yeah.
it's a talk after talk after talk
Yeah.
after talk. I come from a retreat background. That's where I kind of got my start back
Yeah.
in the day. So what I did is that when they said, but here's the deal, we'll finance the whole thing. And you ask whoever you want to be in it. And then you write it however you want it to be. And I said, no, are you sure? Because you've met me. And they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, we're sure. And they did.
Wow.
And so, but what's really crazy is that Mary Bielski called me, had no clue who she was,
Yeah.
not a clue in the world.
Yeah.
And she was
Another
like,
redhead you didn't know,
that had no clue.
right? She's
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
does
like
she have red hair?
yes. Yeah,
Kind of?
no, yeah, she does.
Okay. Would
Catherine
you consider
Whitaker.
your hair red?
Listen, this is called
Strawberry?
what I
Strawberry
pay someone
blonde?
to do. So it's any
Oh,
color
okay.
we want to say it is.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually the lightest it's ever been. But anyway. So
I'm great at my job too.
you're really good at
No,
this.
I'm not. Okay, so
Yeah, so Catherine
we-
Whitaker.
Yeah.
Didn't know who she was.
Okay.
She was just a
She
person.
came on the podcast.
She was just a person at my conference.
Yeah.
And then I ended up
She was
giving,
just a
like a
person.
person. Like she bought a ticket.
she was only a person.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she didn't have a podcast.
Okay.
She
No,
didn't
no,
have
no.
a radio show.
She was a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, yeah.
And now we're great friends, and now we
Yeah.
do conferences together. And
Yeah,
she
yeah.
actually ended up giving my closing talk,
Yeah.
and Mary Bielski ended up giving my opening talk.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's cool because they're like not even on the end poster because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know because I
So
didn't even know who they were. It was so organic. This thing, like I'm telling you, the whole thing was so cool.
So what was different? What's different about the conference, the way you structured it to set it apart?
So we
from-
tried to figure that out. Do you know Will Hickle? Do you know
Yeah,
Will? He
yeah,
lives here.
he
was my sound guy.
I'm sorry, I keep saying he was on the podcast.
Oh, we're just
He keeps-
bragging.
he
We're
keeps-
just name
Well,
dropping together.
He keeps bothering me because I need to release his episode, and
Oh.
yeah, I had problems with an editor. So
Oh.
well, not problems. That he just
yeah.
like he was behind on it. And then we had to switch editors, and
So Will's like, hello.
yeah,
he's
he's
such
like,
a
why?
diva.
Yeah, he is.
No,
yeah,
I love Will
for
so
sure.
much. I've
Me
known
too.
him since he was 20.
Wow.
From the work that I used to do at Texas A&M.
So like 20 years probably, huh?
well, no, because
'Cause
he's
he's,
only
like,
like
45?
he's turning 30 this year.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was the day after his 29th birthday that I asked him to come be my sound guy for Genius. So we actually got together and I was like, here's my concept. And he was like, live him in. And so he, because he's a music producer. So he
Yeah.
brought in Ashley Dean from, well, I was supposed to have Rita West, but Rita couldn't do it. But she's going to be here for the next one. It's going to be in Dallas, March
cool.
6th to 8th.
Wow.
So Rita's going to come in and we're going to try to fly Ashley back out.
Nice.
Because she might be able to come.
Yeah.
So, but he, Ashley came and so he came in. I don't know if you know Mason. So Mason had done some work for Fullness. So they were my sound.
Yeah.
He was my DJ for Saturday night, like all the things, all the lights, all the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that the greatest thing is he sent me a text afterwards. Here's this 29-year-old guy, okay, at this women's conference.
Yeah.
He wrote me a text like this long,
Dang.
so beyond long, writing about how his life was changed because of it.
Wow.
And everyone who was there, like everyone who were the speakers, they were phenomenal. We had Allison Sullivan, we had Allie Hoffman. You might have
Yeah.
heard of her.
No.
Okay, she's nothing. And Mary,
Allison Sullivan's awesome though.
she is.
Yeah, I really
we
like
went to
her.
high school together.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that crazy?
This is all connecting now.
Okay, I know. I just love to do that.
Yeah.
That's like my favorite thing.
Connections.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm a networker, so it's like my
Oh,
favorite.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
so Mary Lindenberg, who was the keynote speaker at Jen Fulweiler's Adele conference.
Wow.
That's how I found her. And so they were my speakers. We have Weld, then I have like Jenny Cotis was my stage manager. She runs Austin Diocese. She was
Yeah.
one of my teens back in the day. Like it was just this cool thing. My art and environment, like my stage was
Yeah.
done by one of my teens who now runs Prince
Oh,
of Peace.
that's cool.
Back in Houston.
Wait, one
Like,
of your teens. You're a youth minister.
I wasn't.
Or
No,
you-
I'm just a volunteer that's been
Oh,
around
okay,
for
okay,
eternity.
okay.
Yeah. So, it was just a really cool. And then I don't know if you know Providential Company, if you know Trisha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So Trisha's
They've
one of
sent
my
us
like
stuff before. I like their
she's
stuff. Yeah.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
So she's took over all of my media. Like
Yeah.
she took over all, and everybody did everything out of like,
Yeah.
I mean, just unbelievably kind.
That's awesome.
So she did the program, she did whatever. So and she did my vendors, and so we were getting together once a week because she lives 4 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
So it's just, and I didn't know who she was.
Yeah.
What? It's
But
like crazy.
but
So
what about the
what we all
conference?
kind of got together was that we thought at the end of it, we could tell it was the most different thing we'd ever gone to. And this is what we came up with.
Yeah.
Was that it was a retreat atmosphere with the content of a conference.
Okay.
So it's kind of like I wrote a hybrid.
Yeah.
The other thing is that the people that were chosen to put this thing on, that I intentionally chose, and then also who God decided to just
Yeah.
throw into the mix, there was no, and this is what one of the things that Will wrote. He goes, there was no green room. There was no place for them to go or
Yeah.
to be. And not only that, they didn't want to. If you had walked in, you would not have known who was
Yeah.
there as a person and who was there as
Yeah.
whatever. So in retreat ministry, when like you have your small group of kids and
Yeah.
then you're like, oh guys, I got to go give the prayer talk. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you go up and give your like 30-minute prayer talk and then you sit back down. And you're like, so go ahead, tell me about your
Yeah.
mom.
Relational ministry. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think that's been done on this level.
Yeah.
Especially, in
many
adult
people-
ministry. We had 150 come, which
So that's a good number.
this thing was done in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
But that's a good number though. I
Yeah.
feel like if you get
In
higher
10
than that,
That's insane.
if you get higher than that, then everyone's like wanting.
See, that's interesting. I kind of, people say that and then I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I just think the
Yeah.
bigger, like if you get some of the bigger
Yeah.
names, I don't know. I just feel like it's harder to sit at a table and be present.
Well, we didn't do small groups. It wasn't like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. But I mean, it's just it was an interesting. It was it was very intentionally written.
Yeah.
And you know, we had mass every day and we had whatever, but then we had these incredible speakers. We had these breakout sessions that went into these really cool places with the women.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of downtime, which I always loved in retreat ministry when you gave teens. And I think adults need that. And I think we forget what adults need, you know, and how they relate to that, especially as women. And my whole goal for this thing was, this isn't a mom's conference.
Yeah.
This is not a young adult conference.
Yeah.
We're so segregated right now in the church. Like, oh, you're in young. Okay, that's 39 and below.
Yeah, I just think, do
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
Or
totally.
this is the young moms group. Oh, well, but my kid's 8. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
this
we're
is
not
for
gonna...
moms with kids for like 7 and under.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, I get it that we need to be fed in certain things, but also we're kind of really becoming even more like segregated and disconnected, which we already have with the internet. We already have with Instagram. We already have with texting, where we don't have relational ministry, period, as humans.
Well, it's part of being an adult to know how to relate to people who are 55 and 30,
I mean,
31.
For crying out loud.
Yeah.
But no one's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my whole goal is that I don't care how old you are. Well, I kind of wanted it to be 21 because we had bars at this conference.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
was
yeah,
like,
at least
there
that.
needs to
Yeah.
be. There were a couple of 20-year-olds and 19-year-olds that came with their moms. That's fine.
Just
That's
let
your
them
problem.
drink. Yeah,
But no,
just let them drink.
But I was like, I go, you've got to watch it. I'm not here to babysit, you know? But it really was 21 and then whatever. And that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so my speakers, here was my keynote, who she's in her 50s. You know, here's Alice in the middle of raising her family. Here's Allie, who is, you know, a young
knows?
adult.
Yeah.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
very intentional.
Yeah, yeah.
But what was so cool was when the 65-year-old was like, wow, that Allie girl really taught me something.
Yeah.
That maybe she wouldn't have listened to someone in their 20s.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
totally.
like same like, you know, someone in, you know, when you hear Mary Lindenberg's story and her book just got released like the week after the conference, and it's phenomenal because she had an adult child pass away. When you hear her story and you hear everything about her and you're in your 20s, you're like, wow. I mean, like, it was just so absolutely, I mean, I'm like the only person still saying this word, but it was so rad.
Yeah.
So everybody wants it to happen again and everybody signed on to come back.
That's awesome.
And so we're doing it March 6th to 8th in Dallas.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on
super
my
cool.
calendar. I'm going to buy tickets.
Please come. Put on, you have like nice eyelashes just, and you already look like your wife.
Well, the joke is that I'm like super popular in the mom, you know, like,
Are you?
Like the mom demographic, like on Instagram, I get the FOMO, and then it's also just fun for me to, I think I got most of my Instagram followers through like the Blessed is She community and like just like spoofing off of
But
Catholic
that's like the young
moms and
cool
stuff.
girls. They're kind of like the
Yeah.
cool Regina George, but the nice ones.
I could have been connecting with the young cool guys, but for some reason
Are there
I
any?
No, but I just liked me. But
Blessed is he.
me and Taylor. I just
I
like
was gonna say, oh, I see. We're gonna have to bring up Taylor's name.
I just like I have the same FOMO. So I was seeing all these women getting the new Advent journals and stuff, and I kind of knew Jenna, so I just pretended that I got one, or that Jenna
hilarious.
had lost it in the mail. Or
But Sacred Sunday, that's like uni.
Same thing. Yeah, that's
You know,
true.
my husband
That's
has
true.
one. Now they have 2 colors, so you can be like,
Yeah.
oh, I'll take the man color.
That's true.
I don't know.
I want to talk about conferences because I would love to pick your brain on this.
Sure.
So I 7 years in youth ministry and
As a youth minister, or just a volunteer?
youth
Like
minister.
as a person that got a paycheck, you're so lucky.
Yeah, right. It was a tiny paycheck.
Big money.
Yeah, exactly. And I, over the years, and I think a lot of people are doing this, where they're getting nervous about the large group format, and there's multiple well, we should go to small groups, and is there a place for something like that? And then there's all of the conversation around Steubenville conferences or just conferences in general.
Yeah.
It feels like, and I'm sure it felt like this 10 years ago and 20 years ago, but it feels like we're at peak conference. Or maybe that's just once you start getting older.
There's
I'm not
so
saying
many now.
No, I know there's a
Yeah.
lot, but I always wonder about. I always wonder whenever, now that we're starting to do events, I think, or I get insecure about someone just sitting for a long time listening to a talk.
Amen.
Especially in the year or in the age of podcasts and all of these things. Allie and Johnny and I and Nick have been talking about, this is the first time we're talking about this on here, but talking about doing either some type of an Advent event or Advent or Lent event for kind of like for young adults, just like a weird thing
Sure.
that would break that mold of, 4 talks, mass adoration and praise and worship music. So it's interesting. I almost wonder if there will be a new And I'm seeing some of this. I don't know if you know Corey Hyman.
Yeah, how do I know?
Likeable Art.
Okay.
So he has like an event that he's making, and
Okay.
it's interactive and
Nice.
multimedia. There's art and there's kind of a talk, but there's also, and I'm just really interested in that idea.
Yeah.
And I feel like with 150 people, you could really do some interesting
Oh, I bet you.
things different
Sure.
than. I mean, are you thinking that route? Like, one of the big things for me is how can people, because we'll put on conferences, those mini conferences at our parish for our parishioners and stuff like that. And I'm always thinking, how can I give people that show up an opportunity to give something? Like, what do they contribute? Even if it's something stupid, like putting something up on a,
Yeah.
but if you just come and sit in the chair and listen to a talk, it's like, man, I could have listened to a TED Talk at home on like double speed.
No, I'm all for it. Like, and that's the thing. Okay, and this is probably because again, you have a youth ministry background, and that's what I say that mine is. You know, even though I wasn't paid.
Yeah.
But I've done it for so long.
Yeah.
Is that I think listen, there's something about youth ministry, retreat ministry that it is so cheesy or whatever. There's certain things that you do, but it's like, but it's so good.
Yeah.
There's some pieces of it that really just kind of, they still kind of work. Like I still work with flash paper all the time with adults.
Yeah.
They love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just some pieces that are like, it hits people in a certain way. There's a thing that I did for Texas A&M that I now do here for a lot of women's groups that I do.
Yeah.
A lot of like day retreats, and that's a whole different kind of concept, but kind of like what you're talking about. I had, there was a group at Texas A&M called the Revolution. Okay. And they worked with Christopher West. And this is when I got to know Will Hickle when he was in school. And I had the girls write anonymously on big pieces of paper that like stuck on the wall. Like there were like 50, 60 kids that came, and they would write something about themselves that they thought about themselves, because this is, you know, kind of connected with the whole theology of the body sort of thing. And it was shocking, right? Of course, it was like these horrible things that you would never think these beautiful girls who were in their prime, right? Or their early 20s, and they're like amazing Catholic girls saying these things about themselves. Yeah. And it was on the side of the wall that the guys could see. And so they could read it. And then their goal by the end of the weekend was to rewrite it.
Wow.
And in a guy's handwriting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And neither one knew who was writing about whoever. But that kind of little bitty stuff that we don't even do anymore, where it's intentional and where you're actually being a part of something. Yeah. And there's something about putting your hand, you know, to like paper, and like that's why I was really excited about Allie coming to this conference, because I asked her, I said, would you like think about, I was like, but do whatever you want for your, you know, breakout. Would you think about like teaching the women how to do something like that? Like we've lost kind of so many things that are so simple that seem like, oh, we need to do all this VR, we need to do whatever. And really it's the old school stuff
For sure.
that I'm finding that people are like, wow, that's really refreshing.
Yeah.
Like I haven't done something like that. And I think with conference work, I think exactly what you're talking about. Like, I think what made this conference difference was it wasn't a lecture. It wasn't just sitting and listening.
Yeah, exactly.
But you were participating, and it did change. Like, and it was, and I sat down and I wrote it like when I wrote retreats, and like when I wrote other things that I've written for the church, where you have to be intentional and really think it out and say, and the flow, right? Like, I don't know if you ever did Awakening, or if you ever heard about Awakening. It's a college retreat.
Texas A&M?
A&M, UT, Tech.
Yeah.
You know, I brought it to Hawaii when I was in school.
wow.
Like it's, you know, a lot of places. But there's an actual thought as to why this talk happens after this talk, or how, you know, like that kind of a thing. And I think with conferences, I don't know if people, like what you're saying, have people been intentional about the time?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, no.
They're really not.
No, it's
They're
just a random.
Like,
it's just like
a random.
This guy's good at this topic.
Yeah,
Get that information out.
That's exactly right.
Let's do 3 more.
He'll bring in tickets.
Yeah.
It really has become about ticket sales. And it's really become about like, I think you're right. I think we've kind of lost, like when you're writing a retreat, you're thinking about your retreaters.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're really intentional about them and what are their needs and their thoughts. This is a women's conference. So there's going to be a different need. They don't need VR. They don't need, I mean, maybe a certain group of them do.
But like
you know
you're
what I'm
saying,
saying? Like, I mean, you need to know, what is the women need?
Yeah.
And what are they not getting at this point of their life or whatever? So we ended that night, Saturday night, we ended with this huge, like we were like dancing to Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, Nicki Minaj.
Yeah.
And people
That's
had
awesome.
like their babies strapped on. And Will was like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
you know?
totally.
But
which is different than the vibe of a conference.
Sure.
A lot of times, I mean, I've been to a lot of them, you know, for the professional side, and then also with youth going to conferences.
Right.
And I think there's so many times where you're like, man, I didn't even need to be, like, I'm glad I was here and heard these things, but I didn't really need to be here. But at a retreat, when you give someone an opportunity to contribute something
Yes.
or to receive something in a
Right.
different way and they feel seen, then it's like, well, yeah, I couldn't have just watched it online.
Yeah. And there's different mediums to a retreat. You
Yeah.
know, you have like some of the writing, and then you have like, maybe you have, and we didn't have this on the conference, but you know, you have like the drama,
Yeah.
you know, and then you have
Yeah.
like whatever.
Yeah.
Like, but it's kind of this other thing where I think with a conference, it's just very, and I think what stinks about conferences is that they go for the low hanging fruit of, well, we're going to get like really emotional
Yeah.
about something. Like we're going to, we're going to go hear people. And
Yeah.
I think we see that, especially with youth, like, oh, well, if we can make them feel the spirit,
Yeah.
you know, then, oh, it was a good conference.
Yeah.
And then it's like, but okay, maybe they did. Maybe they really did feel the spirit during that conference and they really did have that reaction. But I can't tell you how many times we were preparing our youth on the bus going, all right, guys, listen.
Yeah.
If you really do fall over, great. But no one here feel like you have to.
Yeah.
No one here
exactly.
feel like you're fake. You know what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? I don't know if you had the
100%.
same talks with
No,
your
100%.
kids.
Yeah,
right.
on all of them.
But then why were we having to have those talks? You know, why was that the low hanging fruit of the conferences
Yeah.
that we're giving to the teens or that we're giving to anybody? And it's like, that's a concern. And it's like, we can do better. We can think of something better. And if that does happen, let it happen organically.
Yeah.
But not like, well, this is the conference and all this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Everybody get prepared. And, you know, you walk away, you're like, wow, it's never happened for me. So I guess I don't have a good relationship with Jesus.
I wonder if a lot of it is just because of the sheer numbers. Like
Maybe.
those conferences are big.
They're huge.
And it's hard to say, all right, everyone write on a wall when there's, I mean,
is it? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think sometimes we just kind of, I think we're a little American.
Yeah.
I think we kind of get a little lazy, and it's like, it is more work
yeah.
to actually have to move masses.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it's impossible.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm naive.
Yeah. I mean, I think the smaller numbers, I think 150 is a
fantastic.
really good, that's a good pocket
It was
of
great.
people. Yeah.
It was really cool. And it was shocking that it even happened because the date that Fullness gave me was the middle of May, which might as well have been Christmas morning. May is really hard,
Yeah.
especially for women. It's, you know, graduation.
yeah.
It's, you know, confirmation. It's first communion. It's weddings.
Yeah.
It's end of the year. You know, it's just the worst.
Yeah.
And in 10 weeks, we had 150 women come for an
awesome.
entire weekend.
Yeah.
So it was cool. And we'll see. But yeah, I think there's a lot to say about conference work. I mean, we should always be working on all of it, you
Yeah.
know, but I think also we need to also keep in mind, let's not just try to go crazy just to go crazy.
Yeah.
It's really just like the Catholic Church. It's about being intentional.
Totally.
What is the point?
Yeah. Who's your main audience that you're thinking of? Who's the woman that you're thinking of for
A
that
woman.
conference?
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I really, really mean it. And I meant that from the beginning. I wanted everybody to be able to be seen and to feel comfortable and to feel a part of it. I did, like I said, it was not written for a mom. It was not written for the young adult. It was not written for the empty nester.
Yeah.
It was written for, I'm sorry, you're a woman. Fantastic. Walk in the door.
Yeah.
So I had makeup wipes at the doors. I wanted them to come as they were. There were scrunchies in their bags. Like, I wanted them to just
Yeah.
come and rediscover what it means. Like, let's go back to being a woman, period. Like, what does that even mean? And let's be honest, in 2019, it's a little confusing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people trying to rewrite what it means to be a woman. The reason I named it Genius was because it's after feminine genius for Pope John Paul II. There's a magnolia that is really beautiful. I don't know if you know Rocky from Rockstar Design. She's up in Detroit, one of my favorite Catholic artists. And she's a friend that I met at Adele, who I did not know she was at the time.
It's really weird.
It's really obnoxious.
Most people you meet, you don't know before you meet them.
Not at all. And they're like crazy famous. And then
Yeah.
all my friends are fangirling. And then
Yeah.
they're my friends. And
Yeah.
I had no idea who they were.
It's crazy.
So yeah, it's like,
It's crazy how that works, how you
ridiculous.
don't know someone until you meet them.
Yeah, I know.
It's weird. Sorry, you're saying
But
there's
I
a
bought her stuff. And so she designed it. And it's a really beautiful magnolia. I'm from Louisiana.
Yeah.
And the movie Still Magnolias was filmed in my hometown. The guy that wrote it was my mom's best friend in college.
Okay.
So I loved the whole concept when he said women are like, there's a line that Sally Field says in that film that men are supposed to be made out of steel or something. And I love that whole concept of like the magnolia is a really strong flower. I don't know if you know it, but it's like on a tree and it's really strong.
Not
It has a
familiar.
really like fantastic fragrance, but it's very feminine and delicate, which I think is what women are. So I love that whole concept of a magnolia. It's not a wispy kind of flower. It's a hardy kind of a thing, but it's still beautiful. And so she did the magnolia, and then in lowercase, I wanted it like in typewriter. It was just Genius. And I wanted women to reclaim that word, but without having to say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I just really wanted them, because I think so much has been taken like from a lot of us, not just women, but I mean, my audience was women.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to, without having to say it and without having to say, this is Pope John Paul II, this is Catholic, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like genius,
Yeah.
done. And I loved that. And so
Take it back from
everybody
Kanye.
got it.
Kanye's calling himself a genius all the time.
But I'm kind of in love
Let's
with
take
Kanye
it back.
right
Yeah, me
now.
too.
Are you so in love with him?
Me too, yeah.
And he's in Houston right now.
Did you see him in the prison? Yeah.
Listen, he's at my hometown and I'm here.
Yeah.
Obviously, he misses me.
Yeah,
but
he's
I want to
probably-
be there right now.
Yeah, he's probably sad that you're not there.
No, I am so for him. That's all Taylor and I talked about. And that's what Jen and I talked about. So, I mean, like, I am so over that album. I mean, like, in a good way. Like, I'm all over it. Like, I love it. I'm here for it.
It came out. I was sitting in a Protestant retreat center that was like old school Protestant. Like up on the wall, it said,
no Jesus, no Jesus.
No, it was like,
no.
it was like encounter, commission, consolidate, disciple or something. It was like, and it was like big picture of the globe. And in some of the upper, like older rooms, they're like like an old map of the city that the retreat center's in.
Where were you?
Florida. I forget the city that the retreat center's in. It's near Tampa.
Okay.
But it was just an old. They were renovating some of the parts of it. It was like old school. Like these people, and then like little prayer rooms off of this meeting room where there's
awesome.
And man, they're praying. They're praying for. Anyway, so I'm like preparing to give a keynote at my home parish, which is intimidating. And it's like similar thing.
That's like what I just did last night.
Yeah, it's
in
like
Lubbock.
50 men that as I'm growing up, this is the
Isn't
men's
that
retreat.
Weird to do.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in my own Hallmark show.
Yeah.
Like you came home and
these
you're
guys, But these guys watched me go through puberty.
Sure.
I mean, these guys I have to apologize for stuff, right? Like these guys.
You wrote them all a handwritten note.
Yeah. So
that's really cool though.
Yeah. So I'm like in the lobby and then I get a text from one of my friends, Kyle Aubert, who's like greatest album of the year.
For real.
And I know he's a huge Kanye fan. So I'm listening. So an hour before my keynote, I'm listening to Kanye. I'm listening to his song. I'm working on my talk, and there's like rain just pouring down outside of this big glass.
Oh, wow.
Like I'm in this lobby where it's all like floor to ceiling glass all the way.
Yeah.
And a peacock walks by.
That is not true.
No, seriously, there's a peacock out there there's like bushes and.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Walked by.
So I'm sitting in this weird, not weird, but just old
it's a little
Protestant,
it is a little weird. Yeah.
Like this old school Protestant place sitting at a little like coffee shop area and rain pouring, AirPods in, just like bopping to Kanye.
Going, man. You're like, what?
About to preach to my dad's friends. It's the weirdest thing. Like I felt,
were you the peacock in the stereo? I feel like we should you're like, I got this.
Yeah, I got this. It was crazy.
Got this.
It was weird, man.
What's your favorite song?
I'd have to look up which one's your favorite song.
Use This Gospel.
Mine's the one with the car door. With the car door. Is that one?
I don't know.
I think it's that one.
Oh, is it? Taylor loves. I want to say God is. Is that the one that Taylor loves? Because he loves the.
Yeah,
part.
no, that's mine. Because that's
mine.
the.
Oh, I
like
didn't think about that.
It's the open door sample.
Is it?
It sounds like an open door.
It does. It sounds like my old Taurus.
Yeah.
I love this song.
I don't know if I'm allowed to play that, but
I don't know.
I really
Use
like
This
that
Gospel for protection because it's a hard road to heaven. I thought that was so profound.
Yeah.
Like I was like, hard road to heaven. I mean, Taylor talked about with God is about the part about Eve, if you put this apple, what if Adam had put this back on the tree, whatever. Like we kind of like took it apart the other day.
Yeah.
But I love it.
I really like Hands On too. Just
every song is fantastic.
Yeah. As I was listening to Hands On, just his critique, his criticism of like all these people writing him off. I was like, man,
dang,
geez.
he just put it out there.
But
It's 27 minutes. It's not that long.
Joel Osteen loves him. He welcomes him with open arms.
He
It's
owns
come
Houston.
On.
No, not
come
really.
on, yeah.
Actually, I have a friend that was there today. She goes to Lakewood, and so she was with Kanye, and she was, of course, posting pictures. And I was like, oh, okay, whatever.
Man,
I would have known who that was if I had met Kanye. So I'm just letting you know.
I wouldn't have been surprised if you didn't know him. When you knew.
Actually, that would have been funny to know if I'd actually ran into him and I would be like, hey, you should listen to this really awesome album.
You should really get into rap. The way you talk, you got some really.
Where are you from?
Yeah. Have you
Are
ever
you
done
married?
therapy? Have you ever thought of therapy?
Nice. Yeah, who knows? We won't know. Anyway, I'm not there.
I'm in
but
full
he's
support
cool.
of therapy. We talk about therapy so much
No,
on this
I'm
podcast.
so into therapy.
I talk about it all the time. I feel like I talk about it.
So I couldn't get out of my bed for 3 years. And
What?
that's what I'm usually brought on to talk about is anxiety. I was diagnosed with extremely severe anxiety.
Oh, gosh.
My daughter, who's 9, when
Yeah.
she was 2, would go to the bottom freezer and feed herself frozen waffles
Oh, man.
because I couldn't get out of bed.
Jeez, that's crazy.
I know.
So that makes me never want to talk about my anxiety because this is what I'm
this was
realizing.
bad. This
as
was really bad.
As I get older, I'm like, I'm using these words, but I don't think.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we do need to, like, I think just specifying it.
Yeah.
I think just giving it the respect of what it is and just saying, like, okay, but here's my thing. I was talking about this on an earlier podcast today, and I was saying, I mean, it's like taking a Zyrtec, right, for your allergies. And then there's the guy that had to get his adenoids taken out by a surgeon. It's still like a whole kind of thing.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I've just tried to, I think I'm really influenced by the narrative of my narrative, the thoughts, and I start getting caught in that. And
That's
I think,
anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I need to, I've just, for me, tried to not, I went through a period of 10 months or maybe even 2 years where I was saying, I think I'm feeling depressed. And for me, changing that language to, I think I'm sad.
Okay.
It just helped me.
Did it?
Yeah, because I think I started realizing that it's okay to be sad.
Sure.
And this doesn't have to be, like, I just started panicking about being depressed. I just started, or not panicking, but just.
You were like, is this a thing?
Yeah, then it was a thing.
Yeah.
Then it was like,
how
all
much
right.
of a thing is this?
Yeah, it was like,
No,
okay.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have an incredible therapist. Everyone in Houston now goes to her.
Yeah.
She is so
I'm the same way.
fantastic.
Our marriage counselor, I'm the same way.
I'm all
it's
about
like now
it.
I should get
Oh,
royalties.
I tell her all the time, I'm like,
all
is
the-
there a punch card?
Yes.
Because, like,
Can I have a unique URL, like a code at the end?
Thank you.
Yes.
And I get nothing. I mean,
Nothing.
she loves me.
Yeah.
I was at her house the other night at 7:30. I went at 7:30. I didn't leave till 11. That's
wow.
how fantastic
Yeah.
she is. But I've seen her for 4 years, and the thing that I used was neurofeedback therapy, and that's
Oh,
what I talk about.
I
Are
have
you
a
familiar with it?
Yeah, one of my coworkers, I think, has done something similar to
Nice.
that.
So
Oh,
it
wait,
changed,
I don't
literally
know.
changed my life.
So no, Amanda Vernon.
Oh.
You and her must have talked about this.
No, we've actually never met. We're just Instagram friends.
So no, she was when she was
Neurofeedback.
here, that's who it was. She was here and she talked a lot about, not on the podcast necessarily, but she talked a
Maybe
lot
as
about
a person.
And so, but I think afterwards we were talking about that, about how you can look and see that, no, my brain literally has changed, right? Isn't that this?
I mean, you can. I mean, yeah, you do an EEG, is that right? Like, I don't know. And
EKG maybe?
I don't know. I think that's the heart.
Oh, EGG.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just pretty, so.
So what is neurofeedback therapy?
It's really cool. Like, actually, I watch films, like
Yeah.
movies,
Yeah.
and my therapist is sitting behind me. But they do a full cap, and they
Yeah.
do a reading of your waves. So
Yeah.
like you have alpha, delta, beta, and theta.
Yeah.
And your alpha wave is the one that like chills you out.
Yeah.
This is also very layman, not smart.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not a doctor kind of thing. But like if we were to get scared right now, we would like calm down. That's
Yeah.
your alpha wave.
Yeah.
So that whole fight or flight. So it's measured in hertz, and they were looking for like the minimum should be 12 hertz. And when they got back mine, I had 0.7. So I wasn't even making 1 hertz of alpha. So they were like, oh my God, I was living in flight.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
24/7.
Yeah, that's the anxiety.
It was
yeah.
insane. But it was after lots of years, and it's a long story, but whatever. And so, like, okay, for instance, like I could not say the word airplane. I couldn't say plane. You couldn't say it. I'd freak out. I'd like totally have to leave for 15 years.
Dang.
In those 15 years, I think I flew maybe 3 times with a lot of Xanax, right? Is that okay?
I don't know. You took it.
I mean, sure.
Who gave it to
you? Yeah, exactly. I think the guy like at like urgent
The
care.
stewardess was
because I
hanging-
didn't even have like a therapist then.
They were handing out
They were just
pills.
like, sure, we'll just here's 3 to get you through, and I'm like, I'll take them as
Yeah.
I walk there.
Yeah.
But so since May of 2019 of this year, I have gone to Denver, Hawaii, New York twice.
Wow.
DC, Chicago, and Orlando.
Dang.
And no Xanax.
Dang.
So that's insane. So my life has severely changed. I couldn't be doing the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
I would not have been able to do. And what's crazy about the whole Jen thing, that's when my anxiety started getting under control, was when I went to Adele.
Wow.
When I was
That's
with my
interesting.
therapist. Yeah. But I didn't get that at the time. You know what I mean? I was
So
just.
you wanted to be on Saturday Night Live, but like, does even think at the time was even thinking about being on Saturday Night Live triggering or like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I look back,
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I didn't do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I
totally.
think that's why a lot of things didn't happen in my life was because I'm like the most extroverted extrovert anyone has, like, even with extroverts, like, could you just maybe a little bit. But I had social anxiety, which doesn't make sense to anybody, but it does. I would flake all the time. Constant, but I didn't understand that's what that was. You know what I mean? So didn't like crowds, didn't like a lot of things, and so my whole life was run by it for years, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know I had anxiety. And then when I got diagnosed, she called me up. She works at MD Anderson, the original therapist that I saw, not the one that I see now, and she does neurofeedback therapy for breast cancer patients at MD Anderson, which is a incredible cancer hospital in Houston. If you have cancer, you go to Houston, you go to MD Anderson. And so she runs 2 neurofeedback programs for breast cancer patients because that's how like legit this thing is. And so when she called me, she was like, so I knew you had anxiety from talking to you, but I had no idea. And so she was like, you have extremely severe. She goes, I've done this for 20 years. I've never seen anyone. You're off charts.
Dang.
So it was like, I had to be extra and everything, Edmund. It's like, so even in my mental illness.
You got to win.
I
always. You got to win at it.
Just have to. It's so annoying. So anyway, but that's kind of my story.
It makes me want to get tested. Is it something where you
it's kind of cool.
Where they can just tell you go in and they'll just be like, this is how
the
much...
best part. There's this guy named Leslie. I just love this part of the story. It's not even necessary to tell.
Mr. Leslie.
Okay. He
That's
lives
Mr. Leslie to you, ma'am.
This is what I'm saying. He lives in Arizona. I have such a picture of him. I think he's like the guy.
I'm picturing him right now.
Like the Dos Equis guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like tan, always playing golf. He bought his second jet the time that like they sent in my paper, like my stuff. Like he apparently just sits around in Arizona and just like reads this stuff and then comes up with a program. And apparently a lot of really famous people do neurofeedback, like especially like athletes, like people who like golf or like tennis, like a specific kind of skill. Because what neurofeedback does is it retrains your brain. So I always will have anxiety, but I have a second option that is so profound now. And once you go through the therapy, it's done. And it's not medicinal. So you could be pregnant, you could be a kid, you could be whatever. It doesn't matter. But they're going to make a different pathway in your brain. So that's what your brain chooses.
Through
instead.
what? Through while you're
watching films.
So you're watching films
You're
and
watching
talking?
movies. No.
Oh.
And you sit there and you watch and the screen goes dark or it comes light. Like you can see it or like it kind of fades. So like we were watching like Meet the Fockers.
Okay.
Okay. And you're like, I'm like laughing and I'm like watching and like I can see better scenes or not. And she's over in the corner, like, you know, on the computer typing and she's sending signals to the cap that I'm wearing and you can't feel it. You kind of feel like you've had a glass of wine actually.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's telling your brain, you know, like to release that alpha wave.
Alpha waves. Interesting.
And so then it's like the Pavlov, you know, like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
So the brain.
Every time you watch the Fockers, you're like super relaxed.
So like
every time you think of Robert De Niro.
That's really
that
funny.
thing?
What if that really was it? But it's not.
Okay.
But yes, but I like that concept. That's really funny though. Okay, now I just want to watch De Niro. But yeah, so it's that whole thing of like it taught my brain it was on a reward system. So the brain likes to get rewarded.
Okay.
So eventually it starts doing it. Does that make sense?
So it's
over time.
So they try to make you relax.
This is a very, again, layman's term. Yeah.
But they try to make you relax and then they try to train your brain to like, hey,
to do that.
Let's be okay.
Yes.
Let's just do normal alpha. And then how many hours of that did you have to do?
So most people, and this is a good story that I like to tell. I have a friend, because I talk about it all the time. And because I do a lot of young adult ministry, I do a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And he was in seminary and they asked him to leave a couple of years ago because of his anxiety and depression. And he was devastated. And he's kind of been the kid that's like kind of stuck around and we're all like, oh, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
You know, and he was just really, really sad. And I had talked about it like one night, like at Chili's. I don't know. We haven't gone to Chili's since 1912, but I just, whatever, wherever we were. And I actually even like texted him, my therapist. Of course, I never know who goes to her because she doesn't tell me because she's a really great therapist. And so
she's a good person.
She's a good person.
Yeah.
She's actually a professional oboe player for the Houston Grand Opera and
Oboe
the ballet.
player? What's that?
Yeah, like an oboe.
animal?
Like an oboe.
Oh.
An oboe?
I don't know what an oboe
What are you
is.
saying?
I don't know. What is
You didn't ever go to like a thing? Like a symphony?
No, never.
Look it up.
An
okay.
oboe?
Yes, you know what an oboe is. Anyway, she's like a real person. So
Sounds like a pet you'd have in Texas.
no. But anyway, this is a great story. He went to
I
her.
don't care
didn't
right now.
know.
All I care about is the oboe.
Look up the oboe.
Okay.
O-B-O-E
O-B-O-E?
or O-B-E-O. Okay, some of us
This
aren't.
isn't a real thing.
This is it.
It's a flute.
No, it's an oboe. It looks like a clarinet. but it's a beautiful
Or,
sound.
yeah, it looks like a clarinet.
But she plays for the Houston Grand Opera and the Houston Ballet. So when I go to the Grand Opera or the ballet, she like
that
brings you
sounded
backstage.
totally made up. That one's
It's
really
legit.
expensive. Okay, sorry.
Well,
that
anyway.
took me way out of the story.
Sorry.
Cut that out.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. This
No,
is why
take
I
it
have
out
an
of the
editor.
set. Take it out of the set.
And so
Oboe's gonna throw him
Oboe's
off.
gonna throw him off.
Just say jazz flute. You'd be way better. You'd like be less
I was
distracting.
just basically Kenny G, which is
You could have
all I
said
could
koala.
talk about.
You could have said she plays the koala. And
I'd be like,
I would
oh,
have
I know what that
been
is.
more on board. Yeah, just kidding.
Do you love that Kenny G was on the Kanye album?
Oh, yeah,
Can we
I like
talk about
that.
that?
Yeah, I
okay,
liked
anyway.
that.
So it looks like that. But so this guy went to her, I didn't know. And in 9 months, because most people it's about 9 months, maybe a year.
9 months, like an hour a week.
9 months. It depends. I
Yeah.
mean, it really does. Leslie makes up the program.
Yeah.
So whatever Leslie says.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. Like maybe I don't know what I don't know any of his background or anything. But guess who's gonna go back to the seminary this year?
Dang, that's awesome.
Pretty rad.
That's amazing.
So it's really an unbelievable thing, and I'm really trying to talk about it because here's the thing. I mean, like being a Catholic, we know, using NFP and things like that as women, endometriosis, and we have all these lady problems, and they're like, oh, you should take birth control. That's what you should do.
Yeah.
And then what we find out is like that doesn't do anything. Kind of like, I don't know, anti-anxiety meds.
Yeah.
It's not stopping anything. It's just putting some temporary
And it's such a science, or it's such a not very scientific way to approach
it's not solving anything.
Yeah.
It's just keeping it at bay at best.
And a lot of times it's just like we found that people that lick this certain toad, they feel a little better.
There you go.
If they have epilepsy, they're healed.
Right.
If they don't have epilepsy, it helps their depression.
Right.
And
And
they're
this
like,
was actually developed for epilepsy.
and
That's
we
kinda
don't even
famous
know
for that.
why. We don't even know why, but it
Right.
seems to help.
So
Yeah.
you should just do that. So this is what's so fantastic is that once you go through this therapy, you're done.
Yeah.
And we're talking 9 months, maybe a year. Me, that's a different story. But
Yeah.
I mean, we've already been through that. Dear God. But do you see what I mean? But that's
Yeah.
so rad. And it is helping so many people.
Yeah.
It is
So is it-
changing lives.
is it
And
in-
it's been around since the 40s.
That's crazy. Is it
Yeah.
in particular for anxiety? Or
It was invented for people with epilepsy. And
Okay.
what they found out was that people with anxiety just really responded to
Yeah.
it, like in a crazy way.
that's crazy because there
And
literally is a medicine that was the same thing.
Yeah.
Like it was helping people with epilepsy. If you don't have epilepsy, and if you don't have epilepsy and you are depressed,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, you had to have like both things?
No. Like if you they were making it helps people with epilepsy.
Okay.
And then if you don't have epilepsy, it will basically do nothing for you if you're not epileptic or depressed, like have like bipolar or something
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
I forget what it was. It was on a podcast I was listening to, this guy. Anyways, but they just found that when people took it and they were either bipolar or depressed, it helped a ton.
There you go.
And the doctors are literally like, we don't know why. So now we prescribe it.
And we feel good about it.
So if you have epilepsy, it will stop that. And if you're depressed, it will stop that. And that's it.
You're
It's we don't
"You're
know why.
welcome."
Yeah.
That's awesome. But isn't that great?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's really super cool. So, but nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
So, except I talk about it all the time.
Well, that's how I am about marriage counseling.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you
we
go.
talk about that all the time.
Yeah,
We did
but
that. We did it on the phone.
Thank you for doing that though. But
Yeah.
thank you for talking about it because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Those of us who are out there that are using these things and saying, like, listen, if I had, and I said this earlier today, like if I had shattered both of my legs in a car accident, or no, you know what? I'll use this. I had my gallbladder removed last week.
Yeah.
Would it have ever occurred to you to be like, so, but Liv, did you have an anesthesiologist in the room?
No.
Did you have anesthesia?
No, I wouldn't have asked that.
You have never even asked. Because of course I had anesthesia.
Yeah.
It was major surgery. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that wasn't like an option plan. Like, no, I just really wanted to like white knuckle it. You
Yeah.
know, I just really wanted to like
Just
be
bit
there when
down
it
on a
came
wooden
out.
spoon.
You know, like
Yeah.
right, exactly. No one would think to ask that.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that's dealing with a lot of things that we can't see or that isn't of the physical body, you know,
Yeah.
being at marriage, which I mean, we could also argue is kind of in the same realm of like the whole
Yeah.
emotional self and the mental whatever. It's like, why, if there is a need for something else and not everything, not every marriage,
Yeah.
not every anxiety, you know what I mean? Like that's the part that I want to start talking about. Yeah,
Yeah.
some of us can just take a Zyrtec every day.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay. Big
If
whoop.
it works, yeah.
And if it works, great.
Yeah.
But you're not going to say to the guy that needs to have like all the things removed, be like, oh, you just don't really say enough rosaries.
Yeah, no, that's...
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the worst.
It's
yeah, that's
like,
the worst. I think
we've got to
everyone-
start having these conversations.
Yeah, I think everyone should do marriage. I think I convinced, well, I've told this story before, but I convinced a friend to do it as an anniversary gift.
How was that?
Great. Because I was like, he was like, but we don't have issues. I said, it has helped us so much. I wish we had started it even before we had problems. Like, I wish we would have.
I think that's very fair.
Yeah, it's like to tell your wife, I believe in us so much and I care about us so much that I just want us to go just to see if there's anything we could do better, or just to really the big thing for us was, and we went to we've only had experiences with 2 separate marriage counselors. And this one in particular I liked because he kind of just had a toolkit that he just kept working us on.
Oh,
that's
cool.
It was like, this is, and it became just second nature for us to have a language about emotions.
Oh, nice.
And a language and pattern for conflict that in a lot of, not to overstate this, but it kind of rewired our brains in the way we handled situations.
I think that's very fair.
Yeah. So,
well, because you're having 2 people that are coming from 2 different families.
Yeah.
Family of origin is a really big deal.
I talk about that all the time.
Nathan, my husband and I have a sponsor couple ministry that we do, and then we have a marriage ministry that we do. So like, it's just obnoxious. I have nothing else to do all day.
You're like a serial. You're not a serial entrepreneur. You're a serial minister.
Kind of. I just really don't like to do laundry. And I didn't get to do that whole stand-up thing.
So family of origin?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You're having these 2 families come together, right?
Yeah.
And it's great. And it doesn't mean that you had to be from these dysfunctional families. It doesn't mean that.
It's just
means
what you learned.
And here's the thing. Everybody came from humans.
Yeah.
And all those people are broken.
Yeah.
And all those people have wounds. Some are ginormous.
Yeah.
Some are tiny.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And so I love that you're saying that. Like, I think there's absolutely so many wonderful things, especially in marriage, because you've got more than one person involved.
Yeah.
Where somebody could be like, hey, I mean, I'm just going to throw this out here. Why don't you guys, have you ever thought about doing this? Because if you weren't brought up that way to speak that way, if she wasn't, or whatever, and somebody else telling you, I think that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it gave us patterns on how to deal with conflict. And
That's awesome.
It gave us almost like, not rules, but it gave us, we both came together, not when we're fighting, but we both came together and said, these things are non-negotiables, and we're both agreeing to this. And we're agreeing to operate this way. It was really cool because, in marriage prep, we never talked about that.
Right.
Like, we didn't talk about conflict and, emotions. Like, and, he went a lot into the science of emotions and the whole fight, flight, or the amygdala and how your brain kind of
People
freaks
respond
out.
differently.
Yeah. So
and
that
what
was
you
really
might not freak out at, she is, and what she does, and you don't. And it's like, wait, why aren't you doing whatever? It's a lot.
So
it's a lot.
I'm owed like thousands of dollars from
I think that's fantastic.
Dave McClow.
Is he here?
He's Catholic. No, he's we do it on the phone too.
You do?
This is the other thing is when we
Both?
first tried it, we did it in person.
Okay.
But and it was like getting a babysitter for 5 kids to then
Yeah, I
it
can't
was
imagine.
hard. So over the phone has been huge.
Really?
Because we just our adherence to it was much higher. We'd do it every week for periods.
Do you Skype? Like, I would want to see.
No, just on the phone.
We
Yeah.
just don't even know
And
what he
I thought
looks
this-
like.
When we first found that out, it's like the first time you see a radio host's face, and
You're like, oh.
Delilah looks like that. She's
Right.
an Asian black
Delilah
woman.
called me back once, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. It was one of the coolest things that's ever happened. I left a message. She called back.
I'm really embarrassed. Oh man, I'm so embarrassed. I used to listen a lot when I was in middle school for some reason. It was one of the only things
It's
that
been
would
around forever.
come on my little Walkman. I'd be up late at night, like hiding, like listening
Delilah.
to Delilah. Like, imagine. I got a weird.
Oh my God, I love you
I got
so
a weird
much.
story. Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, I was like just imagining like asking some girl to prom or something. Just listening to
Delilah
like,
will do it.
oh my life.
God.
And then she'd come on and just like give some love advice. I'm like,
Please, this is so good.
Yeah.
Please, I want this to be true.
No, it is true. My wife and
So
I,
good.
to give you the shorthand version of
Yes.
of me, my wife and I, we joke often that I am the female in our relationship, and my wife is. So my wife grew up 3 older brothers, and in Texas, right, with
Crazy.
like like parents hunt.
Oh, so
guns.
she's like, I got this.
She's the cowgirl.
Okay.
She had the childhood I dreamed of, right? Which is like
Right.
out in the wild, doing stuff.
Eating bark.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
shooting guns,
Sure.
fishing.
She
Everyone's
had a pet squirrel that was like her best friend.
Her parents just like give them wine coolers when they were 15. It's like, come
Are you
on.
serious?
Yeah. And so
And
I
a
had
Jeep.
Yeah, so I had the opposite. So I was the oldest boy with a younger sister.
Oh no.
And so I lived like city life, moved around a lot. I was much more like in touch with my artistic.
You went to plays.
Yeah, my wife was
art museums.
My wife got in trouble as in high school. The worst thing I did, she was making fun of me the other day. I think the worst thing I did probably in high school was I snuck out of my house one time because she's talking about sneaking out to go do like
things,
stuff
like
to
actual
say confession
cool stuff.
Yeah, I snuck out and went to, and I ended up telling on myself for this too,
of course,
because I felt bad about it. I went down the street and I'm so embarrassed. I graffitied.
Oh, I didn't see this coming.
Over a word that was a bad word.
No, stop.
With
no
a custom design of my own that was like a cloud with a cross in it.
No.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the paint?
Our garage. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that was like one of the baddest things I did.
Well, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I mean, because you could have just written a mean note. That was
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
My mom snuck out and took her dad's car to go to 6 a.m. mass.
Oh,
That's
wow.
the worst thing she did in
So
high
your
school.
mom, okay, so
My
your mom
mom.
did to you.
Yeah, so y'all could have been friends.
Yeah, we could have definitely been.
She could have driven you to the graffiti.
Yeah. So so
wow, so she's like,
so she's the guy.
yeah,
And
okay,
so she barrel raced and
that's
stuff.
us, but not in my husband and I. That's us in the way of like in the gender roles.
Yeah.
But not in this. I mean, I didn't
What do you
like
mean?
shoot things and
What
stuff
do you
like
mean
that.
in the
But
gender
like,
roles?
like he like does the laundry. He dresses me.
Yeah.
He lays out
Yeah,
my
yeah.
clothes.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he packs me. He does
So
all the.
I also-
I have a great wife. I
But
say that all the time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I also.
He's very manly. But
I'm like, I mean, I think if she was here,
he's an adult.
I'm good at picking out the clothes.
Are you? See,
She
he's
comes
a
to me
really
for the
good
advice.
adult, and I'm
Yeah.
not.
She comes to me for the advice.
That's
But
awesome.
The other thing, I mean,
He's a financial advisor.
I mean, she's just built from Texas, right?
Good
And
for
I'm like,
her.
I like have delicate, sensitive fingers. We're going to
You're
homeless.
like, I need lotion.
I know. We're going to homeless shelters
This is
in
awesome.
Steubenville,
Yeah.
and the guys are coming up to me afterwards and like, your girlfriend has a tight grip. She got strong hands.
You're like, that's why I'm gonna marry her.
Yeah. Easy there, Kevin. All right. Okay. We'll see. Let's get back to playing bridge, All right.
Oh my
Fine.
gosh, I can't wait to meet her. She's
she's
probably
amazing.
like, is she like 3'9"? Like she's so petite and like teensy, and then she's like, she can
No,
like
she could lift she could lift stuff.
like things
She
above
could
her
carry.
head.
Well, she's sturdy enough to carry me up a hill.
It's either
probably.
that or she's 6'5". And
No. She's shorter,
Yeah.
but she's sturdy. Yeah.
good for her.
Yeah, she's strong. She could carry
love
me.
That.
Yeah.
She could carry you.
Yeah.
So what is it that you bring to the relationship?
The art.
Oh,
the
is that
emotion-
needed in the
emotional
relationship?
intelligence.
Oh.
I am much more the extrovert, but also similar to what you were saying, I just feel the pressure in social situations.
Mm-hmm. You have a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for
What
sure.
is your Myers-Briggs? Do you know your
Oh,
Myers-Briggs?
I forget.
Oh, come on.
I forget.
You're
I
an
forget what it
I?
is.
You're
I'm pretty sure.
you're an introvert.
Yeah.
That's where you get your energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's the N?
I don't get that one.
Yeah.
That's the N and the S confuse me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really
What are you?
honest. I'm an ENFP,
Okay.
which is the most extroverted of the E's.
Okay.
So it's a but for the F, which
I'm
is
an I
with an F.
FP.
Okay, with the
Yeah.
F. Would that make sense? Because we have a lot in common. I'm
Yeah.
trying to act cool about it. How am I doing? So well. But the F and the T, it's like, thinker or
Yeah.
feeler.
Yeah.
So for the F, I score 100. So I
Wow.
say all the time, like I'm all F.
Wow.
And it's funny, but then it's also kind of sad. I mean, but like that's a lot of F.
Yeah.
Edmund.
That's a lot.
It's a lot of F.
That's a big F.
You know what I'm saying?
So I bring the.
So
I
it's a
bring
lot
the,
of feeling.
She like the what really tells our relationship is she said one time, I said, I don't really feel like going to this party, family gathering. I was like, I don't know. I just don't really feel it. She's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just not feeling super happy or peppy.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, just act like that. And I was like, that's an option for you? And she
To
really,
act peppy is what
No,
she
to
was saying,
act- no,
or
she-
to act like I don't
to-
want to be here.
yeah, to act sad.
Oh,
I was like, I can't. Or to just be sad. Like,
that's
if you-
interesting.
yeah, I was like, well, if I'm like sad, I'm not gonna act sad. Like I need
can't-
to be.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, no, if you're sad, just be. And that's literally how I really admire that about her.
No
And it's the total
kidding.
opposite of me. She can walk into her room and it's just exactly what you get.
She is
She just-
who she is.
Yeah, she's just that.
And she doesn't like, oh
Yeah.
wow, what
And me, I'm
freedom
like,
is
yeah,
that?
yeah. And
yeah,
me-
and I'm like, how can I?
Yeah. And me, I'm like,
You.
I have 7 layers of feelings all building up onto,
Yeah, no, that's Nathan. Well, here, Nathan says, you know how like girls have the resting bee face?
Yeah.
You know, like the whole
Okay.
like.
Some
he's-
girls.
Okay, well, Nathan has like the go F yourself face. Like he looks like at all times.
Yeah.
And he's not. Like
Yeah.
he's like the nicest, most incredible person you'll ever meet on the planet.
Yeah.
But he's not going to like,
Did
he's not going to make you feel better about anything.
Yeah, he's just, you're on your
This
own.
is just his,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is his face.
Do you, the problem with me is I could be in a staff meeting and I immediately pick up on like this person's
all
upset
the-
with this person, or is this okay, or how's
Yeah.
this going on? Oh man.
That would never occur to him.
No.
He'd be like,
They're just
I
like,
mean,
nah, they'll take care of
that's
themselves.
I didn't even know that they had a problem. And
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? It's all I've thought of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good that we married these people
Yeah.
that,
Opposites.
yes,
Yeah, opposites attract.
we're severe opposites.
Yeah, definitely.
Like psychotically. In Myers-Briggs, we don't share a letter.
Yeah. I think that's
So,
probably us too. I don't know what my
interesting.
wife's Myers-Briggs is, but we are
You should
very
find out.
opposite as well.
Very opposite.
And that's why we look like siblings. We have questions here.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
From one person.
At least, yeah. I mean, this is a very popular podcast, but we had to limit it to. Okay, Ian Cabrera. Always forget how to say his last name.
Sure.
He asked, did I miss it? Which he did not.
Mm.
And then, what's a scary reoccurring dream that you have?
Oh,
Or do you have one?
all my stuff were, this is kind of funny because you're going to think I made this up, but for real, because I grew up in Louisiana,
Yeah.
were tornadoes.
Oh.
So if I have a tornado dream, that's when things are really, really bad. And like, it's bad. It's like I'm in it,
Yeah.
which I was an F5 tornado, which is the biggest tornadoes there are
Dang.
when I was in Lubbock. And then I was in a tornado outbreak when I was in San Antonio. I was supposed to go see NSYNC. So
Wow.
that was like 1914. And I missed the Alamo Dome, which is big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a whole dome. And I
Oh,
missed
you
it.
couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
How cute is that? And I just kept going. And as I was driving, and we knew a storm was coming, but we were going to be fine if we made it. I lived
the
in
dome.
Austin at the time, right? Exactly.
If you're with NSYNC, what bad could happen?
Nothing at
Nothing,
all.
ever.
Okay. Bye. Okay. So bad dancing,
Yeah.
but missed it. And I just kept going on 35, which was where all the, whatever they're called, they used to have like the Air Force was out there. And a big thing of lightning hit one of the, like on the highway, the big lights, and it just went. And then the 18-wheelers, about 10 minutes later, stopped on the freeway. Stopped.
You're like, that's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign. My father owned a truck stop when I grew up in
Yeah.
Louisiana, and I know truckers really well. And I was like, and then they started moving and blocking the exits, so people couldn't leave. But there were 13 confirmed tornadoes that night.
Wait, why were
right
people
around us.
blocking the exits?
Because they knew what was going on, and they knew that there were tornadoes all over the place because they stay in touch constantly. And so
But why wouldn't they want people to
because they were all over. Like they were trying to get people just to stop.
just to stop moving?
Yeah.
Dang.
It was horrible.
Do you
It
lo-
was absolutely. So those are my scary
Do you have
recurring
lucid
dreams.
dreaming, do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have those a lot as a kid? I had those
I think
more as
so.
a kid.
Yeah.
I had a lot of weird lucid dreams. I used to be able to tell myself to wake up. I could like,
Yes.
I had dreams that were so lucid
Yes.
that I would say goodbye to all my like cartoon friends.
No.
Like, well, I think
You're like
I
Pee-wee
should wake
Herman.
up. Well, no. What? Huh?
You probably don't know who Pee Wee
I don't.
Herman
Well,
is.
I know about.
Okay,
but I was
sorry.
trying to figure out how.
Sorry.
I was like,
Please
weird
go back
dream.
to what you were saying. He had a show on TV.
Do
It's-
nefarious things in a
okay.
theater.
You know what? Please continue. So you could actually talk, and you would know, like you would like consciously be able to say, and you knew
Yeah.
we're all gonna leave now.
Yeah, I would
When
like
did that
say
stop
goodbye.
for you? What year was that?
I don't know because it was young memory, so I'm not exactly sure, but probably
Not like college, high school.
no. Yesterday, no,
Last summer.
no, probably like 4th grade, maybe. I
That's
moved.
interesting.
I moved around a lot as a kid, and I think that had a lot. I think that impacted me a ton, and I'm just now realizing.
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
now
like
realizing as
what
a
that
30-year-old
had.
what that did to me. Yeah,
That's
and it,
fair.
And it was just a
That's
lot.
fair.
It was just a lot before 5th grade.
Okay.
But
Why?
that's
Why'd
pretty
y'all move so
pivotal.
much?
My dad was in the Air Force.
Oh, okay. Well, did you live in San Antonio?
No. I wasn't there when that happened.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering. It probably was like your 4th grade year.
No, yeah. Those were pivotal years.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Nick Gutierrez says, how do you feel about the Astros controversy? I don't know. What
Which
that means.
one though?
I don't know.
Oh, about like taking the signs.
I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I don't know. You
I
mean
don't
that we
watch sports.
didn't win the World Series? That's not the controversy. I'm sure it's about the sign.
How do you feel about that?
How I feel about that? Like, I mean, I'm against anything.
Do you watch
that's
sports?
illegal. Listen, I have 3 brothers, right? I'm really good at Marvel. I'm really good at Star Wars. I'm really good at like that kind of stuff. That is where I connect, especially with guys and with my brothers. And we only speak in like Tommy Boy and like whatever. But sports, I have to say, I'm not as good as I should be. Yeah. I love the Astros. I love the Yankees, which I know is probably wrong, but my dad's from New Jersey, so. I love football.
My wife.
But not enough to. Is she like amazing?
Well, yeah, they like went to baseball games.
Bad A.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know a thing.
Yeah, I'm not okay.
I just wait until someone says a famous name, and then and then my only contribution is like, yeah, but LeBron James. And then that's it. That's all I don't know anything.
You know nothing.
Yeah, not
and you
a lot.
don't care.
No,
so
I just never cared.
But if you had to watch a type of sport, which one would you watch? Well, you said you played rugby.
Yeah. No, I liked playing, but I didn't like watching.
That's okay. That's fair.
I would get bored. I just would get bored.
I get it. Listen, we were in Lubbock this morning and Tech was playing and I was doing a podcast this morning and we finished at 10:30 and I looked at Nathan and I said, why don't you buy tickets? It's an 11 o'clock game. TCU. It was a huge deal.
Dang.
Like the whole world was there.
Yeah.
He bought 3 tickets because we had one of our kids with us. We found like $55 seats. Super excited.
That's
were there.
awesome.
We were there till 11:30 and we left.
Wow.
So we could come to Dallas. Literally bought tickets to be there for half an hour.
That's crazy.
But it was enough time for me. I was good.
I think now that
Is that sad?
No, I think that's good. I think that's normal. I mean, I went to like a few Georgia Tech games.
Yeah.
But by the second one, I was like, this is boring. I'm done.
I just kind of got.
Now that I'm old enough to drink, maybe like
Well,
the drinking around it, I would be there for.
10:45 when we got. I mean, like 11.
Yeah.
You know, it was 11 o'clock game,
Yeah.
and people were.
Yeah.
I mean, they were very into it.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, they were just. They didn't care. They had a ton of all the alcohol.
Wow.
By 11.
Yeah.
And I don't know what number they were on. And we had realized our 9-year-old had never been to a Tech game. We're like the worst.
That's not,
Like,
I mean,
that's a little sad.
that's not that bad.
You're so nice to me.
That's not that bad.
Oh, thanks. So that is what I
My
think
kids
about
aren't
the
gonna go-
Astros controversy.
My kids aren't going to go to anything.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Y'all have nothing to go to.
My wife's going to have to teach my kids how to throw the ball.
Well, thank goodness you married her.
Yeah.
Why does it matter?
Jojo Rodriguez 2_0 said, and this is interesting.
Oh, God.
How would you describe faith? I'm not exactly sure.
I think believing in something that you can't see.
Mm.
I mean, isn't that like the most basic? That's not like that profound of an answer. But I think,
It was,
you know,
it was simple.
I mean, but that,
Like in a good way.
I think that would be like 101.
Yeah.
It's believing in something that you actually cannot see.
Mm.
Period.
Yeah.
And that you believe that actually
Yeah.
exists.
Did you ever have a crisis of faith or go through like a deconstruction of your faith at all?
I don't know if I would say like an actual like legit crisis. I've definitely pushed the envelope a lot, you know, like definitely flirted with a lot of,
yeah,
you know,
I've pretended to be an atheist sometimes. You know, I'm just like kind of on a Saturday
Are you
night.
a cradle Catholic?
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. Like I hate that I'm not a convert.
I know, me too.
Dang it.
I hear my wife's story and I'm like, I should have partied a little bit more in high school.
Right?
Okay. Don't do that, guys.
No, don't.
listening.
That's a hard no.
But still, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at
Yeah.
because I was like the good kid that did all the things. My husband and I, we met at 15. We're best friends at 16, dated at 17, didn't get married to 22. We were virgins on our wedding night.
Yeah.
Dated 5.5 years. That's what got us started in talking, like giving talks was chastity. Because I was
Yeah.
like, well, we've got nothing else to do all day.
Yeah.
We'll talk about not doing it. And that's how I got started. But do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't drink till I was 18.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
I didn't watch a rated R movie till I was 18. Didn't drink till I was 21. Like all the things.
I waited to drink. Now I definitely was healed of this, but I felt uncomfortable even drinking on my 21st birthday.
Right.
Because I was like, I don't know.
But
This is
now,
what bad people do.
I'm kind
I
of
know
a
now,
little
I'm
out of
like,
control.
yeah,
I'm
I need
kind
to
of like
back
an
up.
Amish person.
Yeah, I'm on a
You know, they
fast
get-
right now.
Oh, okay.
Just
Well,
to
you're
kind
really
of
good.
try
I'm like
to-
on a rum springa. Do you know what that is? That's when they have the year.
You're on that right now?
I am.
Wow.
A little bit. Was this really a Topo Chico? I'm just kidding. No, but I mean,
We would have
kind
had
of-
alcohol if I was
Dang
not
it.
fasting.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you're such a good person.
No,
I'm just
it's
kind
not
of,
a good thing.
I don't know. I'm definitely going. I'm in a really weird. I'm in a
Me
weird
too.
stage.
Yeah.
I really am, and it's interesting.
My friend Alob. Well, Alob.
Yeah, I met him. I don't know if he'll remember me.
He was over and he said I'm not giving up alcohol. I'm just not drinking indefinitely, which I thought was interesting. He's like, I might go back to it, but he's like, for now, for me, right now, I just need to not for a while.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, I might need to do that. I was like, that's an interesting way to put that. Like, okay.
That's interesting.
I was like, that's a good way to, because I get panicky if I think about doing something forever. Like,
oh yeah.
I know.
How do you feel about when you think about like eternity?
How do I feel, man?
Like, does that kind of freak you out at all?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do all day?
Well, no. Because
Really?
yeah, because I used to think heaven was floating on a cloud in a toga. Like,
Okay, I haven't thought that.
or I thought like, well, then heaven's like I get to play Xbox forever. But then,
But somewhere in between.
I think what changed it for me was when people started describing it as like you get to be part of the Trinity, like you get to be in.
Okay.
That it's that's the only thing that's helped me kind of start. Okay,
With
I
the
can
forever
kind of,
part.
yeah,
Oh, the forever part's just hard for me.
yeah. But it's not the other thing that changed that for me. Is, two of my friends, Kathleen. Well, Kathleen was telling me this story. She was arguing with her brother, who's a really good theologian, or just really smart, and they were arguing about eternity. And at one point, he just stopped the conversation and said, "No, Kathleen, the problem is you think eternity is a really long time,
Yeah.
and it's not time
At
There's
all.
no time."
Yeah.
Yes, that is crazy.
Oh, it's so trippy.
Have you read Theology for Beginners by Frank Sheed?
Okay, listen. I don't read.
Have you heard someone
No,
talk about theology?
Yeah, no, listen,
Yeah.
I not only, can I tell you one of my superhero powers?
Yeah.
I am fantastic at telling people getting them to read it. And then they're like, that was the best. And I'm like, right. And then
Right,
they're
that
like,
was really
so
good.
did you love it? I'm like, I've never read it.
No, you're just
I have absolutely no
people
idea.
that have read it have had a big impact on me.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
But I mean, even without people telling me, it's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
Wow.
But no, that's a great book. But I love Frank Sheed.
It is a very
my
I've heard a lot
favorite
about
author.
him. Heard a lot about him.
I've never read him.
He's really
no,
changed
I
my
don't,
life. The way
seriously.
people talk about him.
I mean, super love that guy. No, I really do. I really do love Frank Sheed, but I've never actually read it.
Yeah, that's a
No.
good one.
Last book I read was Siddhartha, senior
What's-
year in high school.
Siddhartha, like that's the
That was the name of
Indian
the
guy.
book.
The Indian guy?
Sure.
Isn't that like a religious text?
Yeah. I don't know. It's the last
You just
book
read
I read.
some of it or the whole thing?
No, I read the whole thing. Yeah,
Huh.
because we had a test. I was in honors. That was
The
it. That was the last.
Siddhartha.
Okay, so Jen Fulweiler, her second book came out.
Yeah.
And One Beautiful Dream, and I did listen to that on Audible, and it is read by Jen. So
counts.
I'm
That
gonna
counts.
count. There you go. Okay, and then if that does count, that I did listen to Mother Angelica, done by what's his name? Ray Romano. Ray
Romano
That's
reading
not
Mother
at all-
Angelica's
at
book.
all true at
would
all.
Be
That is not even close.
amazing.
That is not even a true
That would be
statement. And I
amazing.
said it. But it is the guy, Arroyo.
I'm just picturing
What's
him.
his name?
I'm picturing him in
the
the
EWTN guy.
Yeah, Raymond Arroyo.
That's it.
Yeah. That guy.
I mean, Ray Romano played Raymond on TV. So that's where that came from. But that's not at all who said it.
I can picture Ray Romano with
That's
the habit
hilarious.
on.
But can I just say it was a great Audible because what's his face does it, and he was an actor. I don't know if you know this, but he was a theater person, and he
He's a
does
lot
her
of things.
voice. He does Mother Angelica's voice. It will make you like you would bet your house
Oh my
that
gosh.
it's her. Like you can't like that's the only reason I listened because I kept being like this the whole time. Like, wait, come on. Wait a second. But she's dead. And I'm like, wait a second. Wait, is that
I don't
her?
know if I could
Does that
listen.
make sense?
Yeah, it
That's
does,
all I did the entire time. It was
unfortunately.
fantastic, though. It's a good book. So if that counts, then
Okay.
now I have read 2 books.
Okay. All right. That's okay. That counts.
Yeah, but it
Audible's
was
nice.
because of voices. It wasn't because of.
Yeah, but I think that
well,
really
and Jin's
counts.
my friend, and I felt like
Are
I
you
should
gonna
at
do
least,
more? Are you gonna do more Audible books?
I don't know. People want me to write a book, and I feel like I'm supposed to, and I think that's interesting.
Yeah, to write a book.
Yes.
They want you to write a book, like
Yeah.
a memoir.
I mean, sometimes
It's kind of one of those bucket list things you gotta
Allie's
do.
written the title for me. Live.
She wrote the title?
What is your life? That's what she said to me. We were in DC together recently.
No, I think it should
and
be
she just
Rainbow.
kept saying that the whole
no,
time.
it should obviously be Rainbow,
Rainbow
Tornado.
Tornado.
Tornado. Yeah,
I don't know.
That would be pretty good.
Except you didn't get it at all. So
No, it's so wild. It's so weird. It's just a
because
strange.
my life is so crazy and chaotic,
think that
but
sh-
it's so magical.
I think that should at least be the name of your stand-up special.
okay.
Rainbow
God,
Tornado.
I would love to have
Yeah.
I just want to be on Netflix.
Yeah. Well,
Is
who
that
doesn't?
a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a thing. But now with the number of, I mean, it's only a
Well,
matter.
now you've ruined my dreams. You're like, everyone wants to be on Netflix.
Well, it's only a matter of time before
I
Formed.org
know.
wants to have stand-up specials on it.
Can we do that?
Jen should pitch it to Formed.
Well,
Just pitch.
she actually already has it filmed because
Yeah. But where's it coming?
Spirit Juice, is that the name of the company that
I don't
does
know.
the
Yeah, they do video stuff.
yeah. They're the ones that came and did her comedy
filmed it
special.
for
They
where?
filmed it.
Put it on-
her Chicago show.
But like, where's it going to be? Is it?
See, I would love to know. I didn't ask.
I'm telling you, man, we should pitch stand-up specials to Formed.org.
Can we do that?
Yeah, we're doing
that
that
a
right
thing?
now. Yeah, sure.
God.
Yeah.
I
Wouldn't
mean,
that
I've
be
been
cool?
live in New York, so
Wouldn't that be cool though?
I am.
Do you
okay.
do Formed? Do
Try
you like?
that.
Do you?
I mean, I know what it is, and we have it.
Yeah.
I'm the
Can
worst.
you imagine if
Edmund,
you-
I'm the worst.
But can you imagine if they got the rights to Jen Fulwiler's stand-up? How many more
that's
people
probably,
would?
Why wouldn't they do that?
They should.
That's probably already a thing.
I don't think
You
it
know,
is.
she is friends with Jeannie Gaffigan,
Yeah, I do know
so
that. Yeah.
that might be where that
Jeannie
whole
doesn't know
thing's-
anything about Formed, probably.
I bet she does.
Well, I bet like she's not in the people that are on the staff.
I don't know. She is a Gaffigan.
That's true.
They're kind of like the Kennedys.
The way they do that, yeah.
Of the Catholics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're the political side, then we've got the comedians. I don't know. I just think that they all get together and they just like eat, I don't know, like
Oh, I have to pee.
scones.
Scones?
I don't know, the Kennedys and the Gaffigans.
They ate scones? The Kennedys ate
Sure.
scones? Do you
Of
think
course
Kennedy,
they do.
what do you think with the Lee Harvey Oswald thing? Like, what's your take? Say it right now on camera.
Oh, and I'm in Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh, what is the like? What
We
is
all don't think it actually happened. We think he's still alive.
Kennedy?
Yeah.
That is not even close to true.
No, we all
What do you think? You think
we think he's probably living his life somewhere
Stop.
with Marilyn
Dallas?
Monroe,
Oh, that would be.
somewhere on a beach somewhere. They're
Wouldn't that be
just living it.
fantastic if we
Yeah.
found that out next to
And
Elvis?
how old would they be?
I don't really.
Alexa,
old.
how old would John F. Kennedy be if he wasn't shot?
She gonna know that?
Yeah, she's. He'd be 102 with Marilyn
No,
Monroe.
that's not true because my mother was alive whenever he was the president.
What does that
Like
mean?
she was in school. Like
Yeah, but he was older,
he
right?
wasn't that much. He was in his 30s. He wasn't that old.
Well, he'd be 102 now.
I don't think that's.
Can you imagine him and Marilyn Monroe on a beach in Mexico
mean,
at 102?
Well, if she had like plastic surgery, I mean,
Yeah.
sure.
Well, with the amount of vitamins now we can take, I bet he could have made it.
I mean, she was a healthy gal. She was a
Yeah.
good size
She was
12.
sturdy.
That's exactly right. we
What's-
need her.
We need her. The woman we
Today.
need. Oh, so what's your take on the assassination? Do you think it really happened?
Oh yeah, of course I think the
Yeah.
assassination happened, but
Okay.
I mean, like, who did it?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I think he was part of something.
He
You
was
know
part
what I
of
mean?
something.
You guys, you heard it
That was
here.
a good middle ground opinion. Like middle of the road. I definitely think Lee Harvey Oswald was up to no good.
I think he was. I don't know.
I think he was
What
hanging
do you
out
think?
with he was hanging out with the
wrong
the
crowd.
wrong boys.
he
just
did
with some-
graffiti
yeah.
with
Oh,
bad
gosh.
words.
Gosh.
I don't know. Of all the conspiracy things, I haven't really thought about the Kennedy one, to be honest. I don't know why. I mean, that's the one that happened right here.
That's one of the ones I think that's one of the one of those conspiracy theories that's the most like even though they've come out with all these facts about it, there's a lot of people that still haven't made up their mind. It's like one
Do
of
you
the
think
most
Oliver Stone knows? Like, out of all the people, who
Probably.
knows? Oliver
Probably.
Stone.
Yeah.
He knows all the things.
or Raymond Arroyo. He seems to have some deep takes on stuff.
Or Ray Romano.
Or Ray Romano. Do you have how can people find the Genius Conference? Just search Genius on Google.
Well, yeah. I mean, it does have its own website, but it's not updated. I got to be honest.
There are
but
a
it's
lot of women that listen to this podcast.
sheisgenius.com. Well, but follow me. That'll probably be the easiest way
Okay.
because that's where I'll be updating a lot. And
The
that's
Liv
Liv Harrison.
Harrison
I know it's so
on Instagram.
but the Liv
No, that's
Harrison.
awesome. I think
And that's
that's
the website as well. And that's
well,
my
you know you
Instagram.
can change your profile name.
Yeah, that actually it was. It was 40 Faces. That's what I first got started with Jen.
Well, no, I mean like you have two. Like you have
I have my normal one, which I don't post at
so
all.
you can change
That's me.
this.
Yeah.
You can change this one to whatever you want.
Yeah, I know.
So you can make that like, you know,
What would I make it though?
I don't know, Turd Ferguson.
Obviously.
Yeah. That would
Obvious.
fit.
It's totes.
Is there
Just kidding.
is there any other? I really have to pee. We should probably wrap it up.
TheLivHarrison.com
Okay.
and She Is Genius is the website currently. But
SheIsGenius.com?
But The Liv Harrison will have the most update stuff until
Yeah.
I get, you know what I mean? Till
Yeah.
the Genius.
How often?
Kicks
So
up.
you're going to be back here in March?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How often do you come through this area?
I mean, I'll come whenever. I'm kind of a. I know. Go pee. This
no.
was. Edmund's like, dear God. I'm
No, I was
kind of
just
the
saying,
gal.
this
Like,
was
let me
great.
say this. I met a priest on Instagram, and 6 days later, I drove to Austin just to meet him.
Oh, that's great.
And we had just met
That's
like
really
6
cool.
days.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, Father Darrell, he lives in the middle of Canada. And he happened to be at Jen's show in Chicago. Didn't know that. Didn't know who he was
Yeah.
then. He started following me.
That's
And then
what's
6
so
days
weird
found him in
about-
Austin. So I'll come anytime.
What's weird about the internet is the number of people I've let into my home
So cool.
who I've never met.
Like this.
Yeah, and
Although we've known of each other for a long
that's
time.
true. That's true. But
But-
yeah, the number of people I've welcomed into my home and then never really met. And then the first one that was when I've kind of was like, man, I need to maybe. It was DJ
Bet.
Sean, who I didn't even really know really well online.
Yeah.
And there was no one home.
Oh.
So talk about social pressure. It was just me and
Oh.
him. Like
How'd
my
that
wife
go?
and kid. It was great.
Oh,
but I
well,
was
good.
so nervous. And then there was one point in there where I was like, what if he did kill me? Like, what if he just strangled me?
There is a moment where you think about
Yeah.
that. Like I met someone I've starting to meet people that follow me, you
Yeah.
know, which is kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
And I was in DC and I had this girl meet me at my hotel and then we walked around the streets of
Yeah.
DC. That seemed like a really smart thing to
Yeah.
do with, you know, Starbucks.
Because I'm totally that way.
Oh, that's totally what we did.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's cool. I'm homeschooled, or I was. She's like 26. She was like, I've got Mace. I was like, I feel like we're in DC and that might not be enough, but that's fine. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
And then she came into like my room till 1 a.m. We hung out the whole time. And there was points where I was like, is this the safest thing to do? She
you-
was lovely.
Do you have a hard time lying? Or do you assume?
Oh, I don't lie.
Do you
like
assume
I
no one lies?
rarely lie.
So that's the thing is you assume the best in everyone. I'm the same way.
24/7.
I'm just like, why would people?
Edmund, it's getting me in trouble.
Yeah, I'm
Is
like,
it getting
why
you
would
in
people-
trouble?
Not super bad, but
Okay.
I just never believe people when they're
Ever.
like, when they're like, that guy was lying. I'm like,
Right.
what makes you? Like,
Why would you think
how
that?
dare
like,
you?
I'll say something and people are like, oh, well, that person won. And I'm like,
Yeah.
why would you even assume that?
yeah, why do you think Raymond Arroyo's a liar? Yeah, he seems like a nice guy.
I've never said Raymond Arroyo
Yeah.
was a liar.
No, I'm saying my friends.
No,
all
I'm
my
just
friends
kidding.
say that.
They do.
Yeah, I'm like, why would you cut the guy some? He's never given
He's
me.
on EWT.
He's never given me a reason to doubt him.
No, it's true. I am the most transparent,
Yeah.
real, honest person 24/7. And so it never occurs to me that someone else isn't.
Is that a
or has
defense
any type
mechanism?
of- No.
Being completely transparent
Not
and
at
vulnerable.
all. That's not a defense
Yeah.
mechanism at all. I literally don't know how else to be.
Yeah, see, I'm the
I
same.
don't.
Did your parents put up with lying much when you were a kid?
No, I think they would really like it if I would like hold back a lot.
So
They're
my
like-
dad was.
I know why I am the way I am.
My
but-
dad was so forceful about.
Oh, really?
Like telling a lie was like one of
the
the worst
worst.
things.
Yeah, no, that wasn't the thing.
But then the other thing is, once I hit a certain age, I realized that I think a little bit it was a defense mechanism of
Oh.
like if you're just being if you're just always operating as truthfully and as transparently as possible, it was like the best way to deal with trying to be anything else.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, isn't it weird?
My thing is, and this is kind of, you have to come back.
No, that's fine.
I'm so concerned. Can you not just go and come
I already
back?
did. Yeah.
So you have so many Topo Chico bottles.
Yeah, I already peed.
Okay, I feel so
It's fine.
bad. Well, part of my story is at one point in my life, and this is a huge part of my story, but I weighed over 450 pounds.
Okay.
So like at one point they couldn't even weigh me on a scale. And so I think the reason I am who I am with this whole honesty piece is that when you walk into a room, okay,
Yeah.
and we're talking like, okay, and I don't know if you know what morbidly obese actually looks like, but I already was at a disadvantage,
Yeah.
right? Everybody knew something about me in that room.
Yeah.
That the guy next to me could be a pedophile. The lady next to me could be, I don't know, like,
Yeah.
doing drugs, like whatever. But
But they could
no-
see you. Yeah.
But you could see me
Yeah, yeah.
when I walked in the door. I was at a disadvantage
Yeah.
and there was a vulnerability. So
Yeah.
I think that is where my kind of was like, well, F it.
Yeah.
And I'll just.
What changed? Like, what was the change in that?
Which part? The
Like,
weight or
what was the turning point in overcoming that?
Oh, that's just so long. I mean,
Okay.
it really is. It's such a long story. I mean, I was diagnosed with diabetes at 19. I mean, it's
Dang.
just a huge part. Like the first time I went to Weight Watchers, I think I was like 8. It was just my whole life,
Yeah.
whole life. And
Yeah.
and it's a huge part of a lot of my wound and like what I talk about and like, who I am. And obviously I'm not like a runway model at this point, but I'm not where I was. And so, one part of it was I did have lap band at one point that was horrific.
What's that?
But it was
What's
so
that?
bad.
What is
it was a
lap band?
surgery where they put a band around my stomach and I had a port right here on the side and they took a 9-inch needle and it would be every 4 weeks I would go and I would have to
They'd
go under.
feed you?
No, they would have
Through
to
the-
they would feed it through the port into
like,
this
feed you
equipment.
food?
No.
Oh.
To put saline. That's cute. To put saline, and so it was kind of like had a balloon around the band, and so it would get smaller around my stomach.
Oh, weird.
And the saline would. And
Yeah.
so the theory, it's like communism. Like, it sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
We should share all the things. like when you write that down and then you're like, that's actually not going to work. Like, there's so many things that's wrong with it.
Dang.
That's kind of like lap band. They won't even like do it anymore.
Really?
But it was so horrible. It was so horrible.
Like, what do you mean, like painful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was sick 24/7. I would wake up in the middle of the night, 3, 4 in the morning, choking on black bile. And it would be covered on my like pillow.
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
It was so awful. However, it did get me to have my second child. All my doctors, I have 8 doctors that work with me with all the health stuff that I have.
Yeah.
And they allowed me to, you know, and we only did NFP the whole time, but we had to be very, it was like we could only high five pretty much like that was it.
Yeah, that's us.
And like maybe half a day.
Yeah.
And so we got our daughter, and that's why she's named Cana, because she was a miracle that we even have her.
That's
so
amazing.
lap band did give me that. And then I did have gastric.
What's that?
So that's when they remove the stomach. And so gastric bypass. And so
Wait, they remove your stomach?
Yeah.
Completely?
Kind of. It's just
Whoa.
like floating in there apparently, but they like rerouted.
It's just kind of off. It's like on a break.
For real.
Yeah.
It's like floating in there. And so they rerouted my like intestine, like small intestine. So they redid this whole thing. And so it's a very dramatic surgery. But at the time, when the reason why I had lap band is I have this Mediterranean blood disorder, and only Greeks and Italians have it.
Yeah.
And it's called thalassemia minor. And at the time in America, there was no one who had thalassemia minor and gastric bypass.
Dang.
So that's why they wouldn't do it. So I was way too morbidly obese to have lap band to begin with. But it was the only option that we had. So by the time that the gastric bypass came around, they were like, hey, we found some people and you're going to make it. So,
Wow.
But I ended up actually losing my uterus at 36 because of all of this.
Dang.
So yeah, I got
That's
a lot
a
of stories.
wild story.
I got a lot of them.
I feel like that's I feel like especially in 2019, 2020, talking about, there's like a few, I feel like you can start talking about religion now. If you start talking about your podcast or your diet, people are like, we're out. Don't talk about that. Like, don't talk.
Well, now I intermittent fast. I don't eat till 7 p.m. every day.
Oh,
That's how I've done the last 85 pounds.
we could have done this whole podcast about that.
Dude, don't get me started.
I'm on an extreme. Look at this.
I don't eat till 7 p.m. That's how I've done the last 85 pounds.
I eat one.
Love it.
I've done one meal a day for the
Love
last
it.
year.
I love it. I love it.
Look at
Has
this.
it not changed your life?
Yeah.
Yeah. I should show you pictures of like.
No, I should show you this. I'm going on like a 3-day.
Are you really? No food?
Without eating, yeah.
How are you loving it?
I don't know. It's
Do you have
just
to
a
talk
thing.
yourself into eating?
Not really. No, but it definitely changed my hunger. I don't necessarily eat because I'm hungry. It's just
Right.
because I'm like, I would just love to eat.
Really?
Yeah, like it might not be good, right? Because you can.
I have to like talk myself into eating now.
Interesting. I wonder if I have some mild form of like eating something disorder.
Oh, I obviously do.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Why are you doing it for so long? Is that what you do? You do like days?
We got into this whole extreme.
You need to go. I'm
no,
really
I'm fine
concerned.
now.
I'm really concerned.
No,
You
I'm
have
fine now.
reabsorbed it?
Yep, I've reabsorbed it, and that's why I'm getting this second wind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear this.
All
is
that urine went to my
fascinating.
brain.
Did it? And like
I'm
you just
feeling
ate it?
jacked. Let me tell you, I'm jacked on. I got that brain piss
not-
going. I got piss brain.
You're not drinking.
No.
You're not eating.
Not drinking alcohol, and I'm
but
not
the
peeing.
urine, nobody knew. And
don't
now
pee
you
for
just found a whole thing. And
It's
now
a-
you're going to invent a whole thing.
Yep, it's a brain. It's like nootropics for your brain. It's like brain enhancement.
I
You
don't know
pee.
what that word means.
Anyways,
that's
we
for
got-
people that read.
We did an episode. My wife and I were like super weird and dumb. Anyways, we got onto this YouTube channel. This guy, and it's called the Snake Diet,
Okay.
and he's just extreme,
On all.
like extreme,
Okay.
and it's like keto,
Okay.
but like Shiite keto.
Nice.
So, which sounds like karate. Which sounds like a form of karate.
Yeah, it's Middle Eastern keto.
Shiite keto.
It's Okinawan keto.
Yeah, Okinawa Shiite keto. I'm gonna
It's
get canceled for
Japanese.
that. I'm gonna get
Totally.
canceled.
You can't do that, man.
Edit that out.
It's 2019.
Nissan, Honda.
Stop it. First you see father, then you see me. Do you know Karate Kid 2?
No.
I hate you. Are you kidding me?
No, is it
You
Will
don't know
Smith in
Karate
that?
Kid?
No, I didn't want to watch
Are
it.
you effing kidding?
I know I wasn't going to
Will
watch it.
Smith?
Yeah, his son's in it, right?
No, stop talking. Ralph
Karate Kid too?
Macchio. The 80s.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant like the reboot.
No.
Oh, okay. No.
Disgusting.
Uh,
But yes, it was Will Smith's kid.
yeah. So,
In the first.
so his whole thing is fasting
Mm-hmm.
and not just intermittent, but like long-term fasts.
For like days.
Yeah. No, for like, so there was this whole study done where they took someone who was morbidly obese and he didn't eat. Did you hear about this?
No, but I believe it. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm like, yes.
There was a guy and you're
Oh,
like,
was it me?
Yeah, he's a guy. And I said, he was morbidly obese. I believe that.
I used to be that. I might still be. I don't know.
So he said, so
Just less.
they did this thing. They did this thing with this guy where he didn't eat for 365 days, and his body, because he was morbidly obese,
306, not any solid food at all.
nothing. So they did give him some bone broth. See, the problem becomes electrolytes, and minerals become
Yeah.
a thing.
You start eating your bone, like, right? Don't you start taking stuff away?
No, so this is the thing. This is
Really?
his whole thing is, and I don't know if this is safe to even talk about, but
Is
so-
anyone listening?
Yeah,
you're gonna
my
like,
mom.
you're gonna take this all out,
So-
right? This
no.
isn't live, right?
I don't care. No, I just do it for me.
I don't even have a
So-
career, so this is perfect.
You have more of a career than I do.
I don't think that's
Okay.
true.
So the whole thing is that your body doesn't go into starvation
Ketosis?
starvation until you're out of fat.
Dear God, I could live forever.
Yeah, no, so seriously, like,
Oh,
so the whole
really?
thing is like your body is muscle sparing and fat burning when you just don't eat.
I just need to go to Antarctica.
No, seriously, so you just don't eat. So we were like, and my wife, you know, she was trying to get rid of the baby fat and she was, yeah, she was just in a low point and she needed, my wife is like, when she had her conversion, she was just like a switch. She just stopped talking to a whole bunch of people. Like she could just cold turkey. Like if she did meth and she decided not to do meth, she would just stop. Like it just,
She really is a guy.
yeah, she could just stop.
Yeah.
Me, I'd be like, well, but I'm thinking about it. But
And then that one time we had a really good
I don't want meth to
talk.
feel bad about me not doing it.
I should call.
So yes, we got in this weird thing about, and there's a whole Facebook group, snake diet people losing, and it's real extreme. I mean, he's like, he's like fasting away like tumors and cancer and stuff.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I absolutely believe it.
So we started getting into, and it was like, okay, well.
So how long have you done it?
Well, we've been kind of like the longest I did was I think like 4.5 days without eating.
And
it was just crazy. It just it totally transformed. Like I do think Jesus could have gone 40 days without eating. It seems totally possible now. Well, granted, he's the Son of God, but
aside,
but
from
no,
that.
it seems way more achievable.
Yeah.
Like I think I could go 40 days without eating.
Are you gonna try?
No, because it would suck. but
how long do you want to go? Like, what is your goal?
Right now, I just want to. Well, so you have the ketone strips, and I just want to get back into ketosis. I have like a goal weight. So I have I have like a goal weight that a few months ago when I was doing a lot of the one meal a day and working out and stuff. But also,
is it a lot more attainable now? Is that what you're saying? Like
What?
you're getting closer to your goal weight because of doing the snake diet?
Oh, when we did, so my weight has fluctuated over this past year.
Okay.
But like, I mean, my wife lost like 20 pounds in like really like within like a week or in like 2 weeks. It was like super quick.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm so good to do this now. I'm so excited.
Seriously,
I'm so excited.
See, but I think you would love him. So he just,
I'm pumped.
I mean, he just yells and screams the whole time.
Great.
And it's really, but he has, anyways, we should probably talk about it off the podcast. It's a whole, do you look up the thing?
Just don't put this out there.
So he starts his whole, every YouTube video, he just yells, "Hey, fatty."
Nice.
And he just swears and like.
So then I go back into like third grade.
Yeah. But so at first, right, when we first came across the video, he has like his nails painted and he's like yelling and swear. And you're like, what is this guy? And he's talking about not eating, like just don't eat for like days. I'm like, what? So we couldn't stop watching it. So we're just watching, trying to figure this out.
I'm fascinated.
And so he just self-taught himself all this stuff.
And
like,
you do the ketone strips?
Yeah, it's just to
to see where.
Yeah, it's just like it's more like a psychological
As a
thing.
diabetic, I can't tell you how fantastic the whole not eating
Yeah.
thing is.
Yeah.
It's so great.
So the big thing on the
So
fasting,
great.
the big thing on the fasting is curing. I mean, he's curing diabetes.
Oh, I believe that.
Skin conditions,
Yeah.
like all this stuff.
Sure.
And it's crazy, all the people in this Facebook group. And he was doing all of it for free for the longest time.
Wow.
Until they forced him to put.
Why is it called a snake diet?
So I don't know. It's
That
something to
doesn't
do with the way snakes eat a big meal and then they won't eat for a long time.
That's true.
But then you just drink snake juice, which is just electrolytes in water.
Oh.
So we make up a lot of snake juice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. But think about bears. Like they eat and then they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
So breakfast for sure. Have you ever heard about that? Like the whole.
I feel like breakfast is the biggest lie we were all told.
America literally inventing
made it up.
breakfast. Yeah, to sell more.
Do you think
products.
about that though? About with your kids, like as a parent,
so
didn't that kind of trip you out a little bit?
Yeah. So we did get really. I get really weird about that too because we were going into. I mean, my wife and I were going low carbs, and then but then we're getting to a point where we're like, man, when you're a kid, you need so many calories.
Sure.
And carbohydrates a lot of times are easier to pack in the macros.
Yeah.
So I do worry because there's a lot of dinners where it's just vegetables and meat.
See, and we're actually Whole Foods plant-based.
Nice. So no meat?
No.
Yeah.
No oil.
Yeah. No.
It's like hardcore.
Oil.
No
What do you mean?
Dairy. Like we don't even cook with oil. Like
Olive oil?
Coconut.
Even though
nothing.
it's plant-based?
Right. Because it's processed.
So what do you use to cook with?
Broth.
Or bacon fat? Oh, no animals. No animals. Broth.
So yeah, and my
Interesting.
father's 100% Italian. So olive oil was like mother's milk.
Oh,
you know what I mean? And so this was a whole different. This was actually my surgeon who got us into it, which I was like, I can't. Like, please, my life is already so dramatic.
Yeah.
See, extra. Did I tell you everything about my life is so extra?
Gosh.
And I'm a natural vegetarian.
Okay.
So when I was 3 years old, my parents said I just started pushing meat away and just
Interesting.
wouldn't eat it at all. I literally hate it. When I was 10, I would pray every night that I would wake up and like chicken because it made my life really hard.
What about eggs?
No, I hated all of it. All of it. Seafood. I'm from Louisiana. My mom's Cajun. My dad's Italian. My father takes it like personally.
Yeah.
He still makes me special steak all the time. I'm like, Dad,
what's the vitamins?
can't take it.
What's the thing that you have to worry about when you're plant-based? There's like certain
Just B12.
B12.
Just like, meat eaters have to worry about, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, the B12 because it's not in the soil anymore.
Okay.
It used to be back in the day.
Have you heard of the carnivore diet? So a
Is
lot
it
of people
just meat?
It's just meat. Like Jordan Peterson, his daughter
God.
had both of her legs broke when she was 12. Like she had all these disease stuff, chronic
gosh.
illness, and went all meat for like 2 years and it cured everything. It's
Crazy.
Isn't that weird?
I don't know. It's all nuts. Well, and that's why I told my surgeon, I was like, look, I cannot do anything crazy. I'm already the weird vegetarian.
Yeah.
Like the only natural one I know. Like I rarely meet someone else like me because I'm not saving anything. Shoot a whale. I
Yeah.
don't care. I do care. They seem nice.
Shooting a whale sounds fun.
Don't shoot whales.
Shoot a whale.
It's
Just shoot a whale. Of all the things, club a seal. Shoot a whale, club a seal,
I mean, take away
punch a
tortoise.
polar bear in the face.
Really?
Call them bad names.
I mean, just be ugly.
Yeah, just be mean to a
Take
fish.
it.
Stupid fish, no legs.
Dummy. I mean, really.
Underachiever.
Because people are like, oh, are you trying to save? I'm like, no, I'm not trying to save anybody. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I also don't think we should just go around just murdering animals, although I really don't care. Like,
Yeah.
like
You
I
hate 'em.
have,
I really don't care. I hate 'em.
Lucchese cowboy boots. They're made
Yeah.
out of horse.
Oh, yeah.
Those are good boots. I'm the worst vegan ever. So, but now I'm vegan. I mean, I'm a Whole Foods plant-based.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what that really, it's a healthy vegan is what
Yeah.
that is. Fritos are vegan. Oreos are vegan. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean that you're healthy. Whole Foods plant-based, that's it's a
Okay.
whole different thing.
Dang.
So it's no oils, it's no nothing.
Is
It's
your whole
eating as
family that way
whole.
too? Like your kids?
Yeah. So when we were doing it, like we watched Forks Over Knives,
Yeah.
and that's what he got us
A
to
lot
watch.
of people get onto it
Listen,
with
I
that.
mean, I was like, I can't do it. And then we watched him like, damn it. It's
Yeah.
like one of those things. And so that was in 2014. And it really did change our life for
Dang.
real. And when we do it, it's phenomenal. My son is actually the most hardcore.
Yeah.
My daughter, she's the worst.
Yeah.
She'd shoot a deer.
Do you
eat it raw.
do you do any blood tests or anything? Like check your blood work
all
for
the time
that?
because
Yeah.
I have so many doctors. So
Yeah.
my hematologist just checked on my stuff the other
Yeah.
day. The
Yeah.
only way I can personally get iron for the rest of my life, which is why part of the reason why I lost my my fertility, my uterus, is intravenously. I can't get it through food or through pills.
Man, someone else was just so you have to go in.
I have to get it in the ever since I had my hysterectomy, which will be 5 years in so I was like diagnosed at 36, but I was 37 when it happened. So it'll be 5 years to this December, and it was the most devastating thing I've ever gone through, hands down. I haven't since then.
No, I mean, how often?
Since I lost it, I haven't had to go back.
Interesting.
Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah,
I mean, but that's kind of why it had to happen.
Yeah.
I was so sick.
Dang. I'm gonna
so
go,
extra.
I'm gonna go pee.
Are you? It's back.
I'm gonna finally go pee.
This is
I
lovely.
feel it. I feel not the pee. I feel like this is kind of we're landing the plane.
This is.
I think I'm ready.
I think the plane landed a while ago.
Well,
but
I'm gonna
okay
dry that off. I'm gonna dry that off.
No, this was great. We
was
covered
fun?
so
this
many
was very
things.
Fun. Yeah, I really thank you for being here.
Edmund, thanks
this
for
was
having
really
me.
great.
For real. This is great. I could hang out.
Anytime you're in town, if you ever want to promote a thing to my
thanks.
mom and like 3 other people, you're more
anytime?
than welcome. Yeah,
The
it would be
3
really fun. It would be really fun to have everyone else here.
I'd love it.
Hopefully, we'll make that happen next time.
Okay, hopefully next time. I'll be cool enough then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go pee.
Okay.
Thanks, Liv.
Thanks. Bye, Evan.